Material's Ghost Investigation Crew, MGI. Welcome to the Pyramidical podcast. What is this, episode 19?
19. Yeah, welcome.
Episode 19.
Disclosure Day is here, John. Did you hear the news?
So here I am in Yokohama, and apparently the biggest disclosure. I mean, it's a pro. There's pros and cons with this disclosure. I'm not such a cynic and skeptic that I can't see that it's the only official disclosure a president has ever given.
Right.
Seen a lot of false stuff mixed in with, and a lot of skepticism, but it's understandable.
Did you find anything cool in the? I didn't even. What happened for people that don't know, that might
So
not know, like me?
5 a.m. my time yesterday, 5 a.m. my time, I went to aliens.gov and alien.gov and nothing. And then someone said, oh, war.gov/UFO. That was actually a politician tweeted that. And I went there and there, it's a blank page. So I kept refreshing that. And finally, at 5 a.m. my time, probably 8 a.m. East Coast time with the people who actually released it, Department of Defense, Department of War, whatever they're called these days.
Right.
War.gov/UFO had 17 pages of random links you could click on. And of course, I click on page 17, trying to get to the end. And on page 17, it said orbs dropping orbs. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
So I clicked it, and it was eerily similar. They even said a giant orange orb dropping orbs. And they
said orange?
Yeah, it was orange. And what I saw exactly was orange.
I remember that.
It was dropping orange or red lights. What I saw, it was dropping yellowish and white lights. It wasn't dropping orange lights, but it's still too close to not be the same phenomenon. It's still too close. So I can't remember the time frame that they said. I thought I read 2003, but maybe I read something else. Maybe I read it somewhere else. Because I went back and I didn't see that 2003. So maybe that's in a different document. But two incidents back to back mentioned a giant orange orb, and one of them 2 days in a row, someone witnessed orbs dropping orbs. And I saw that in 1994, 95, 96. I can't remember the exact date. I just remember Zombie was playing on the radio from the Cranberries.
Yeah.
Zombie was a brand new song at the time, but maybe it wasn't super brand new. In my head, it was a hit that just hit the radio.
Right.
So 1994. But you know how memories from 20 plus years ago,
absolutely,
warped. So maybe it was the third year the song was out, and it was still a big hit. Could have been 96.
Small detail. 95,
right. 94. So between 94 and 96, I looked out the window of my parents' car as my parents were driving, and just looking at nothing because I'm just in the back seat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dusk, and my camera's falling a little bit, but let's hope it stays.
You're good.
So I see a star appear, literally a white star appear in the dusky sky, but it looked a little bit too close. And we're passing Lake Kachuma. So this is a very specific area. I'm not giving a vague scenario of some vague place that didn't happen. It did happen. Yep. I'm looking at Lake Kachuma from the freeway. And it's, you can look down, you can see how full the lake is, how empty the lake is. I think the lake was fairly empty-ish. It wasn't super full, but it wasn't empty. I'm just looking. You can't really see the full lake. You see the trees, and you can see glimpses of the lake. But, you can see a big sky that was dark blue, and it was dusk. It was just starting to get darker, but still light enough where you could see birds flying. You could see planes flying if they were there. And I saw a star appear, which really, it looked like it appeared over Lake Kachuma, not in the outer space, but it looked like it appeared over Lake Kachuma. It looked like it appeared
What?
very
Can I ask why you say star, not like planet or something else?
light, and it was reminiscent of the North Star. So
It was like a bright light.
I thought it was the North Star. I thought it was like, oh, okay, the North Star is appearing as the sun is setting. The sun was still up, but it was setting. It was set. It was in the setting stages, and so I just, I'm just watching this North Star because I think it's the North Star for 5 minutes, and this North Star seemed a little bit too close. Something seemed off about it. Okay, it started brighter white. So it started to get 10 times bigger than I've ever seen the North Star in my life. That's when I started paying attention. So I'm watching it, and it doesn't get the size of the moon or anything, but it gets, I don't know, maybe 1/20th the size of the moon, which is still too big for a star.
Yeah.
And it's still white at this point.
Is it moving at all, or?
It's totally stationary. So at this point, I'm thinking it's a helicopter with a bright beam because it stays put the whole time. So through this whole area, this light never moved ever, other than at the very end, it kind of it changed color and it shrunk and it disappeared. So it never. So I was able to watch it, and I happened to live close enough to this area that from the front of my house, I could still see it. I could still see the light from the front of my house, but I want to get a closer look. So I walk up to the cow farm, which is literally a couple 100 feet away from the front of my house. It's not that far. Feet. It's literally a 2-minute walk. And so I walk 2 minutes to the fence, and I'm not going to hop over the fence because I realize it's probably over Lake Kachuma. It's pretty far away, which is, it's a couple, but still close enough where I can see it.
Right.
And I'm watching it, and it changes from bright white to hot red orange. Now, kind of brownish orange, but it definitely changes from kind of a neon orange to a brown orange, and then and then the most phenomenal thing about it was it went from an already pretty big white light to it expanded 10 times bigger.
What?
Orange orb. Now it looked like it's out of focus, and I did actually run to the house and I grabbed binoculars, and then I went back, or maybe
backyard. I thought
as I got home, I already grabbed them before I ran out there. My dad had binoculars sitting on the table. He always
lucky.
grabbed my dad's binoculars. I ran up binoculars. They're pretty big ones. And I zoomed in with binoculars. I didn't have a camera as I was like 14 years old. I didn't own a camera. Even if I did have a camera, it would have been a disposable. You would have seen nothing but one picture. Take a picture of what appears close to you with a disposable, you're going to see one picture.
Even a Polaroid,
At dusk, at that time frame, you probably
not going to capture.
Would have been a black with nothing on it.
Yeah, it's good to try.
I didn't own any technology. I didn't own any cameras or anything. So my dad was a photographer, but
he
used old-fashioned film, and I don't think cameras with film in it at the time.
Does he have old cameras?
Yeah, my dad has a bunch of old cameras. My dad even has it like a old cowboy 1800 style, old-fashioned light in the old things.
The fans, huge.
I think he bought one of those or built from scratch.
Wow.
He uses what they still make. They still make that film. So he'll slide. But he basically made this camera almost from scratch. He got the parts, he got the lens, but he made like the accordion part himself.
Yes. Oh wow. I've seen them. Yeah.
Photographer. He never, he did a couple of things here and there, but mostly just for fun. He is a photographer just.
So he saw it too. Did he see the orb too, or
No.
You just grabbed his binoculars.
What happened was I'm watching this thing at this point for 20 minutes.
I know. Wow.
I see it turn giant orange and it starts dropping white lights. And I counted, and it dropped 14 white lights.
You counted it, yeah. Wow.
Before it dropped all 14, probably after dropping 5 lights, a second white light appeared. I don't know how close. I would guess a couple 100 feet from its location in the sky. A second white light appeared.
Huh.
Same process, identically, almost like a robotic process of going from what looked like the North Star to
Whoa.
the bigger white light to the orange to the brown. And when these things, okay, and that one started dropping white lights too. So we have
What?
two orangish brown orbs in the sky,
Doing
and
the
they are
same thing.
miles away. They're not like over my head or anything. They're a couple miles away in the distance, but with my binoculars, I zoomed in.
Wow.
I saw was just blurry orange lights,
Yeah.
but I saw the white lights dropping out of them. And this is the terminology I used at the time as a kid. To me,
Yep.
I see that these white lights are being pooped out of them
Right.
because it seemed like they're coming out of them in some weird way, like they're being pooped out. And that sounds dumb, but as a 14-year-old, that's what came to mind when I'm watching
Yeah,
this.
like giving birth or something, right? Like that's what
And
I imagine.
the only thing I can think of to this day is
Pooping out, yeah.
wormholes opening and two wormholes closing. I don't know if
Oh,
wormholes look,
okay.
but I may have potentially witnessed
Interesting.
wormhole, some type of wormhole. I don't know.
So you think the star that you saw be turned into or was a wormhole of some type, and that second star as well.
Yeah, I think it's
Wow,
wormholes as opposed to flying objects because they
that's
didn't ever
fascinating.
moved. Only the white lights that came out of them moved.
Did the little ones, that dropped out, did they move in the same direction? Or they spread out in different? Do you remember any of that? Or
So this is what I saw through the binoculars, and I wish I had this on video. But a few years later, after this, maybe 1 or 2 years later, I was watching Sightings hosted by Tim White,
awesome show, yeah, I love that.
and one episode did feature an orange orb dropping white lights.
Wow.
Someone filmed not the incident that I saw because it was a little bit variation, a little bit different, but it was the same phenomenon. Someone did film this phenomenon, and it is on Sightings. And do I want to get DVD copies of Sightings early episodes? Sure, but I don't think they exist. But I think VHS tapes do exist. So one of these days, I do want to track down the full set of Sightings episodes if they exist on VHS, convert them to whatever, but I'm not 100% if these copies are easy to get. I'll give it a shot. I'll try. But I know for a fact I watched it on Sightings. I was like, hey, I saw that. I've seen that. That's what And yes, after witnessing them for like 40 minutes at this point, the whole incident lasted like 30 to 40 minutes. And I ran back into the house and I told my parents, hey, there's some UFOs. And yes, like one family member came out with me. And at that point, they didn't see anything other than maybe one of the white lights flying in the distance. And it looked like an airplane and it made me look stupid. And they couldn't see anything because at this point, the giant orange orbs were gone.
Yeah.
So this is what I saw through the binoculars when I zoomed in and really clearly zoomed in. I'm going to be done with this story quickly. Okay.
No, take your time. It's cool.
Very interesting. I saw a white light come out of it, and then very sophisticated, very intelligently, it like flew around the bottom and like did like a nice 360 little circle, and it acted kind of like a bee would around a beehive. It was very intelligent. It didn't behave like an airplane or a jet or a helicopter. It behaved very much like an insect flying around its little beehive.
Right.
And
Wow.
and it started to fall, and then a second one fell, and it kind of did this little squiggly here and there. And then what one direction, and one of them flew another direction. And then as they all fell out, they all spread out on like a mathematical,
Okay.
all flew different directions, like they're
Interesting. Wow.
scanning the area.
Right. Huh.
That's what I saw. That's what I witnessed. It's a true story. I made a YouTube video about it. You saw it, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I
I
did.
can, yeah. And the
We should
video
link
doesn't
it.
prove, but I recreated that video with an animation that took me many hours. Took me like a week to make that video,
Yeah,
and
it's a good one.
it was just a way to show the best I could what I saw.
Yep.
And this is
Pretty good, actually.
documentation that someone did actually witness the same thing 2 days in a row. While the things that fell out were a different color, the the original orb thingy was the same color. So that's very
Mm,
interesting and out of it. So
that's fascinating.
okay, the giant orange orbs, they shrunk, got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they turned brown and
Mm,
turned a dark color. They literally turned like gray.
okay.
I've never seen a gray light in the sky other than these. And then after they were gray, they disappeared, they vanished. Poof, gone.
Hmm.
It's almost like I saw a wormhole open and a wormhole close. And
Interesting.
one of the lights flew over me. And I looked up and I
One of
got
the
a
baby ones,
one of the
the
baby
little one.
flew over
I
my
rem
house.
That's right. Yeah.
And I got a really good look at it. And this is how it happened. They all fell out. They all went a different direction. One of them happened to go over my house, and they're in a solid white light as they're coming out. Maybe, like I said, yellowish. Maybe a solid white or solid yellowish light when they're coming out, and solid, not blinking, not anything. But as they start to spread out, like they go a mile down the way, then they kind of turn on their regular airplane lights where they have a blinking white and a blinking red.
Hmm.
And one flew over me and it looked like a small airplane. And I saw the two lights and it looked like one of them was at the front, one of them was at the back, or
Hmm.
maybe each wing. So when I zoomed up, I never saw an airplane. I never saw it. I got the gist it was a small airplane when it flew over my head. So, but
Wow.
not any tiny radio controlled thing. When I say small airplane, it looked like a small private plane sized object.
Okay.
And so dark at that point that I'm not even 100% if I actually saw an airplane shape. I just saw two lights flying over me, and it had the appearance of being a small airplane sized vehicle.
Hmm.
So it didn't seem too odd. It didn't look like a UFO up close. But these things, it sounds paranoid. Could have
No, it
shapeshift.
doesn't.
Could have put on a cloak of here we're a regular airplane, no big deal.
Hmm.
I don't know, but
Could be.
research for hundreds of hours trying to prove what this was. I couldn't find anything that would remotely hold 14 small airplane sized
Right.
vehicles. Nothing. The closest thing it would be a military tank hauler that could haul and maybe carry two tanks.
Right.
Maybe in the world could hold four tanks if
Yeah.
there's 8 tanks.
No, this 14
So
is
the
ridiculous.
biggest helicopter carrier in the world, the one that could hold four lightweight tanks, could not hold 14 small size airplanes. Not even
No.
close. We're
No.
talking that would be 1/10 the size needed.
No.
So
No. No.
that carrier, helicopter carrier, doesn't exist. Didn't exist then. Doesn't exist now. Now, yes, it could have held 14 drones. Drones of that
Yeah.
size didn't really exist at the time on the level they do today.
On record.
I saw
Right.
over my head, and it was based on the space of the lights, the size of a small aircraft,
Hmm.
like maybe a two-man aircraft, but still a full size. Like we're talking a dogfighter from World War II,
Hmm.
that
Pretty
size, and
decent.
that's
Yeah.
something that could have those ready to fly. That size would be Now we're talking an aircraft carrier in the sky, and we don't
That's
have anything
incredible.
like that exists. So that's why I was, so impressed on
Yeah.
not knowing what it is. But so someone 2 days in a row saw it back to back on two separate occasions, and
Is
it's
that
in
what
those.
it says on, so on aliens.gov, which is, I still can't believe that's an
They have
actual website.
anything to aliens.gov. People are guessing that maybe when they actually release the alien files, they'll use that. But who
Yeah.
knows? That could have just been a joke. If you go to aliens.gov, there's a little smiley face. So that could be
Oh,
a joke.
really?
Yeah, it could be a joke from the
That's
government.
interesting.
There's a tiny emoticon this big with a smiley face.
No way. I didn't know that. That's interesting. So
What
it
do you
could
get?
be a whole troll, but we did have Congress people actually in, Congress talking
Mhm.
about this, talking about this. I mean, clearly, I mean, that same, we'll get into that too, is that that same person, Anna something, a representative out of, I think, Florida, also was mentioning David Wilcock too. And like like she seems to be bought and paid for by the disclosure, lobby, because now right now it's a big lobby with people with like real money and stuff. Like there's a decent amount of money to be made in this thing. So, people are actually, we know this from Tom DeLonge and Peter Lavenda lobbying with the Democrats and John Podesta and different people getting involved and stuff like that. So, um, to me, it just seems just like more of the same old stuff. The government always says disclosure is coming, it never comes. They give you little bits and pieces of crumbs that you can't verify, that nobody can verify. All you can do is look through it and see what sort of verifies with your own self, like you did, John, which is like you looked at it and said, hey, that kind of sounds similar to something, an experience I had. Maybe there's something there. I'm not going to dismiss it out of hand, of course not. There might be bits in truth. I hope there is, but most likely it's just breadcrumbs, or a distraction from like some real issues that are going on that are, there's just some real big time issues going on right now. We were just talking about data privacy and things like that, and surveillance too. Um, yeah, so that's my take on that. I haven't seen the disclosure files. I did watch a documentary about Bob Lazar.
Yeah, I did watch Tom DeLonge's response to the UFO file release of yesterday.
What did you see? What did he
And
say?
he said that he's very optimistic. This is the first time the government's really released anything. And so, he's talking with people on the inside, and they're optimistic that more will come forward. The guy's obsessed with the subject, so I can see why he would be optimistic. And I'm optimistic too, to an extent. But then
Mm.
Grush's response, did you see Grush's response?
No, tell me.
Grush said, the ABC agencies are really fighting the president 100% on releasing anything else.
Hmm.
And the real UFO files might never be released. They're fighting him right now. So those were clearly the fake UFO files. No one's going to argue that they were the weakest and wimpiest of any batch. And just like the E files, I'm not going to even say the dude's name. Remember
Yep.
phase one of the E file release?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't give two rats craps about the e-file
Me
releases
neither.
part two, because the fact of the matter is, if people that are obsessed with it, if they want to know what the files are, it is the names of the victims, which is obviously never going to be released, and it is the names of the horrific uh, crime ring organization, or just people that
Yeah.
participated, and they're never going to be released because it's powerful people, and the whole point of the whole thing was to get dirt on those people. And to be honest, that information is pretty valuable, I guess, to whoever
Right.
holds on to it, and it's not valuable if it's just released. um, so blackmail, I guess, is a huge motivation. It's not going to be released anytime soon, and
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm not optimistic or have any focus or care about that, because it's just a
I
really
don't either.
messy subject. It's really messy, and I'm not into that because I don't research that stuff.
No.
I watch Law and Order here and there and SVU here and there, but it's
Yeah.
not a subject I focus on or talk about. I'm more
No.
interested in the UFOs, but
Yeah.
the UFOs might be an exact copy of that. Remember when here's part one, and they had the binders. Social media influencers had the binders. Oh, we got the binders. Here's part one. And when they opened up those binders, it was basically an empty binder with a couple websites printed out in them. It was fake. The whole thing was a PR photo op scam.
Yeah. Really.
So at least there wasn't any photo op scam with this release. There was some decent text-based stuff, but all the video and photo was BS and crap. The worst of the worst, grainiest of the grainy. But Grush said he doesn't think the current administration is going to be able to get past the really hard-nosed people in power that hold on to these real files. And I agree with him that these are the fake files to the extent of them being Project Blue Book 2.0. And I'm sure you're familiar with Project Blue Book.
Yes.
Project Blue Book is what the government released a couple times. They released them like twice. And Project Blue Book boils down to, from my perspective, of some agents went to someone's house and the person's like, "Oh, are you selling Tupperware?" And the agents are like, "No, we want to hear your story, what you saw." And the person's like, "Oh yeah, at 12:04 p.m. I saw a light in the sky." And they're like, "Okay, we'll put that in the book, thanks." And then 20 years, 40 years later, they're like, "Here's the story. At 12:04 p.m., someone saw a light in the sky. There's the disclosure. There you go. That's it." And so Project Blue Book is super boring. Here's a light in the sky at 12:04 p.m. Who gives a crap? That means nothing. It's worthless. It's literally less than nothing because I don't care about a light in the sky at 12:04 p.m. What we want to see is obviously a piece of memory metal, some biological evidence of
Yeah. What do you think about the sphere?
elsewhere.
What do you think about the object that Stephen Greer has? It's like this.
Oh my gosh, the
What do you think?
Boogosphere. The
Okay, that's what.
Boogosphere. The Boogosphere is literally the Nazca Mummies 2.0. The Nazca Mummies are a scam and a hoax.
By Jay Widener.
The Boogosphere is a scam and a hoax. I really don't need to comment beyond that. Looking at it, it's the shoddiest metal engraving I've ever seen. Someone made a comment, this is just someone with a Dremel,
right,
with poor experience even using a Dremel. Maybe they have intermediate experience using a Dremel, but extraterrestrials from another planet are going to be able to use a Dremel a little bit better than that. And they're not going to be using Dremels. They're going to be using their alien lasers, and they're going to probably use AI, and the AI will make a perfect design. And whatever that is, it's done by probably some cheap labor. It's probably done by some dude in Mexico who was probably paid a couple $100 to do it, maybe $50. I don't know.
Good.
But it's a decent folk art. If you're in the middle of the desert and you're at a gas station, you see it and it says $25. You're like, that's pretty decent piece of folk art for $25. But it's not.
What is he claiming it is? What is he claiming? He's saying, what is Greer saying? That's from a UFO?
Greer is saying, it's carbon dated 60,000 years ago. You can't carbon date a piece of metal.
No, I was going to say.
Still carbon on a piece of metal that's datable. You need a piece of bone or a piece of
wood,
biological, whatever the case, and it doesn't have anything like that on there. So just from the get-go, and the guy doesn't even spell Columbia correctly. He spells Columbia Culombia, and it's Colombia. He doesn't spell Columbia correctly. Maybe that's
what's he using that for?
What?
What's he using Columbia for?
I think he's claiming it landed in Colombia. Here's the video, and the video is literally some dudes that they paid to say, "Oh, look over there,"
No,
and then they have an AI video of a basketball AI,
come on,
and then they have some actors saying, "Oh, it landed over there," but there's no actual video of it actually landing over there. It's just a bait and
people,
switch of AI plus people saying over there.
come
There's no
on,
evidence it landed. There's no evidence of anything. Someone even matched up the boogosphere with an actual object. It's some type of fuel tank. So someone
I
matched
can
up
see that. I can see
someone
that.
matched up the exact same object of what it
Oh,
exactly
really?
is before they engraved it. Some type of fuel tank. So I don't know,
It
but
does look like the fuel tank. So yeah, so obviously there's so much misinformation and disinformation on UFOs and the whole thing that it's really hard for anybody to buy into it. But people still do, and you see like you probably run into these people on Twitter or X who seem like UFOs are their religion and they believe they really think that like wow what
yeah,
if, and then it always I've been in these groups and listened to them and try to like talk to them, and I'm always friendly and everything, but it's always like, and they have like ADHD. They can't really focus on the one thing. It's like, okay, let's take this sphere, for example. Now, let's take the claim that he says it's carbon dated. And they'll say, yeah, but if you look at the Anunnaki and Genesis, it's like, well, that has no, hold on. But before we get there, let's get here. Let's focus on this. And they never, it's always, it turns into like a personal anecdote or it's something this. And I feel that it's so hard to reason with like logic and facts and truth and
yeah.
verification with these people. It's like, yeah,
They're manipulated through, I guess, emotions, and
right.
they don't care about logic and reason. It's a
And I
very
think,
common strategy to just try to
but
get someone
But I
to.
think Greer is aware of this. I think he's like a super narcissist, in my opinion. I've seen a
Oh
couple
my
videos of
gosh,
him. Well, I mean, I've seen a
Greer's a
video of,
pretty funny guy.
well,
Did you see the government official that said that he briefed that Greer briefed him on
yeah,
UFOs? And
he's he,
the dude
yeah,
said that Greer never briefed him, that they were
really,
literally at a charity dinner event and they happened to be at the same table, and Greer talked about UFOs nonchalantly with him for 2 minutes, and then after the fact he overhears that Greer briefed him on UFOs on an official level. He's like, no, this dude never briefed nothing.
Greer always has been claiming that. Yeah, he's claiming since like he's been briefing.
He
I've
blows
done,
the smallest
I've
thing into the
but
biggest thing.
he puts it out there like he's actually worked for the Clinton administration. He's worked for the deep state. He's worked for all these presidential administrations and pushing for disclosure and sitting and having a hearing and doing all this stuff. But I've seen videos of him and like he does have like a spirituality behind his whole cult and everything. It seems like a cult of Greer people. And
Yeah.
he demands silence when he speaks. You better not speak. And if somebody speaks, he's extremely mean to them, like rude. Like if I did that to anybody, if anybody did that to me, and it's happened a couple times,
Mhm.
I'll just leave. You know what I mean? Like I don't want anything
Yeah,
to do with this person. Like
like
you're disrespecting me like that just because I'm talking or something like that. Like okay, once just you know what I mean? Like
like
anyway,
I was neutral on Greer because, and then I had a microscopic amount of respect for Greer because I accidentally confused him with Dr. Lear for a few seconds. So for like 2 weeks, I forgot who
Lear,
Lear versus Greer was because their names sound similar. And
sure.
then I Googled it. I was like, I've heard Greer. I definitely heard him on Coast to Coast AM before. I know
Oh
that.
yeah,
But I've heard Lear
absolutely.
on Coast to Coast AM and Dr. Lear, Dr. Greer, and they both talked about
Yeah,
UFOs.
yeah.
And
I
Dr.
like
Lear
the
passed
Pat
away a long time ago. So
did.
that's when I realized, hey, this ain't Dr. Lear,
My,
the guy who pulled supposed alien abduction little
DNA or
artifact
whatever.
out of the abductees. That's Dr.
Oh
Lear.
yeah.
He was a surgeon, an actual
Oh
doctor who
that guy.
pulled out little stuff out of people, and he even asked if he could take out Whitley Strieber's implant, and Whitley Strieber's like, "No, I don't want you to take it out." I want my aliens to contact me.
Streaver's a fascinating human. I mean, but the thing is, it's like these people build up their resume. It's like, and it's like even with Whitley Strieber, like these people. It's just an entertainment business, and
Mhm.
like these people are making money off of people who can be easily manipulated. And I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
people are easily manipulated by their emotions. I am too. I'm not saying I can be too. I'm
Well,
susceptible to it. I won't watch a video if it has like the harming of animals, innocent animals. Like I'll just look away. You know what I mean? Like there's certain
mm,
things that trigger me. But you have to be aware of them. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I got to learn a little bit about Whitley Strieber by emailing him and him
oh
emailing me
really?
back that one time. I got to learn that he actually believes that anything can be alien. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're contacted, you could get a little paranoid like Tom DeLonge or like Willie Strieber,
Mhm.
and believe things that are fake because you want to believe so bad.
And it
So
helps his business.
Willie Strieber is kind of stuck in a permanently wanting to believe whether it's true or not. So he gives things the benefit of the doubt way too often. I don't give
Yeah.
Jack squat the benefit of the doubt. It has to be proven. Uh,
Yeah,
there's
but
some pretty decent proof
he's
in the
also
new
super.
revelations.
Yeah, if you've ever seen his interviews, or he used to host his own show. I don't know if he still does. Whitley Strieber, and I've listened to some, especially the interviews he's done with. I don't know if they're still up with Peter Lavenda,
Mhm,
like years and years and years ago. And Lavenda was talking about his books and blah blah blah, and like the Process Church of Final Judgment. And Strieber's like, "Oh, I know them," and Lavenda would say, "Oh, this person. Oh, I knew that person. I was there. This is what happened. The whole thing happened." Like he inserts himself. You see these
mhm,
personalities, and I've run into them. These personalities that will be like, "Oh, I'm from there. Oh, well, you're from there too. Me too. Me too. I'm there too." To try to connect, and it's
mhm,
and the more you investigate into it, it's like, "Oh, you're just saying that." You know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
oh, maybe you stop by. I knew this guy. I won't say his name, but he makes music and stuff, and whatever, and does his own podcast and stuff. And I was on it very briefly once, but he's one of these people. You talk to him, and the one person will say, I'm from Louisiana. And he'll say, well, as a child of the South, I too can emphasize with you. Oh, yeah, I'm from Boston. Oh, you're from my father is from Boston. I used to go there. Okay, you're from Texas. You could say any Australia. Like he's from there. He knows it. He wants
Mhm.
to. You know what I mean? Like these people are like amphibious chameleons, essentially. You know what I mean? And it's really those are the people that you got to stay away from, really.
Yeah.
Like,
So
anyway,
rest in peace. Rest in
y-
peace to David Wilcock. I
rest
wasn't
in
a
peace.
fan, and I didn't follow his work after the 2018 Paradise, California fires. But
Yeah.
despite that, and he did block me on Twitter. He blocked me.
Did he?
Despite that, rest in peace to the guy. I hope he's has some peace in the afterlife. I do believe
Yeah.
he was a confused, lost soul. And didn't you say you met him once? You met
Did
him?
meet him. I was gonna say, yeah. Met him. I think we even talked about it on this podcast. Topanga Canyon Road. I'll talk about the details now. Exactly where it was. It was at this place called Tribal Oasis. And you can look this up. I think they used to have like a Facebook page too, but it's like this 13-acre um, this like eccentric German billionaire bought Native American land right at the top of Malibu, right? So that's where Topanga is in Topanga Canyon. And like it's a very interesting area. But anyway, it has these big wrought iron gates that are the size of telephone poles. And it's like something out of Mad Max. And you have to pull it open, and that's how you enter in. And then there's all these little like tree houses, and there's like a teepee that holds 140 people. There's a river, and it's a mountain too. It's on a mountain, and it's just
Hmm.
this very cool place. But anyway, they have philosophy night, and you're supposed to like bring something to eat so everybody can eat and talk and hang out. And I could see the place. So my friend Ethan brought me there, and there's a bunch of people there, and And sure enough, like over in the corner, he was hanging out with some other people. I was just hanging out with other people, but I did say hi to him. He looked familiar, but had no idea who he was. He wasn't
Mhm.
famous at the time. He had not done any Gaia TV. He might have called into Coast to Coast, maybe. I had no idea who the guy was. And I
Mhm.
did meet him. He said, David, super nice guy. He had really friendly, like a gentle demeanor, and he had this really like he did laugh. So um that was it. There was not like any talk or anything like that. So, and I didn't even know who he was until years later. Same thing with Graham Hancock. I met Graham Hancock too one time.
Mhm.
Gave him a ride to Burning Man, where he met his wife. Santha was her name. Anyway, that's another story for another time. But I had
Mhm.
no idea who Hancock was. I thought this is a British guy, nice British gentleman I'm talking to. Then I
Yeah.
see him on Ancient Aliens. That's how I knew David Wilcock too. I was watching Ancient
Yeah,
Aliens.
I only saw him on Ancient Aliens once, but
Yeah,
I changed the
but he was
channel.
on a lot. He was on
I
quite
changed the
a bit.
channel whenever I saw. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of Ancient Aliens.
No, but it was just ubiquitous in the culture, I think, and everybody, like, it became just funny and a meme in itself. But then I was like, oh, Dave Wilcox. So then I started paying attention to him a little bit, and of course, I didn't agree with most things he said, but I did find him to be a super sensitive soul. I always liked
Mhm.
him. I never would say that he was like a bad person,
Yeah,
because I remember, and not to me, finally somebody brought this up. I don't know who, somebody on Twitter, I think I saw, but if you go back and look, David was always super, super paranoid and super sensitive. Like,
yeah. You
there was,
told me that he wore a bulletproof vest because
well,
he thought he was the most important person on the planet, being a alien representative or something to that effect.
yeah, it's like a contact in the desert conference or whatever. Like, I mean, come on, you're scared of a lawyer from New Jersey, you know what I mean? And his little
Mhm.
girlfriend, whatever. Like, but also, dark journalist wanted me to serve him papers and Corey Good at Contact in the Desert. No one's gonna watch this, but yeah, but shout out we're friends. He's actually from the area, so
Mhm.
um, but he actually wanted back so I didn't know David at all. Then all of a sudden he popped up in these videos, and one of the videos was, you can still find it. He's crying and he's calling Carrie Cassidy, who hosted a very fake, scammy show. She thinks David's still alive, of course, and he faked his own death and all that. She's one of those whacks, and so she would interview him quite a bit. And somebody called David or sent him an email that said, "We're watching you. We're gonna get you," or something like that. He hysterically flipped out and called Carrie Cassidy. And Carrie Cassidy had an emergency broadcast that, like, David Wilcock under attack. She's like, David, you're surrounded by white light. There's nobody. And then some like Scottish guy got on the phone. He's like, listen, David, you have nothing to worry about. We know where they are. We know where they are. Yeah. And he's like, okay, okay. It's
So David
so David
Wilcock. I
Wilcock.
don't.
Let me just
So,
say, you could just,
well,
yeah, go
can I
ahead.
just tell you what I know about Wilcock?
Sure.
See, other people obsess on certain things and they'll like focus on it their whole life and worship
Yeah.
it. Like you said, there'll be whack jobs. They'll think someone who's dead is still alive. I
Yeah.
assume if you're like the biggest Elvis Presley fan in the world, you might be in denial and you might think Elvis Presley's still alive. You saw him
Mm-hmm.
eating the banana sandwich at the
Peanut
Taco
butter.
Bell parking
Yeah.
lot because he asked for a banana burrito and they didn't make it. Whatever the case, you know what I mean? But
The Baja
I'm not
Blast.
like that. If I hear
Yeah.
someone and it's BS coming out of their mouth,
Yeah.
I ignore them the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
this is my experience. I'm a huge Art Bell fan. I
Yeah.
did listen to Wilcock's very first appearance live on the radio, and his second appearance live, and his third appearance live. Now, why did I listen to all three appearances? Because the phone calls, the unscreened phone calls, were more entertaining than anything. I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
listening
Yeah.
for the phone calls. Like
Yeah.
even if the guest wasn't that great, the phone calls were usually pretty funny.
And Art Bell was good too.
And so the first appearance, and other people aren't going to have the more I talk about this, the more of an alien. What? So like 99% of the internet and never listened to the first appearance of Wilcock and Coast to Coast AM. They just
I
haven't.
don't think so. Yeah.
99% of the internet, if not 99.99 for an infinity nines. Only a couple hundred people apparently still are alive that remember it, that are posting online. So I mean, you can search it, you can find it, you can download it, you can listen to it. But I've only heard it the one live time. Wilcock said, I might be a little bit psychic. People say I look like
Oh
the
God.
famous psychic named Edgar Casey.
Edgar Cayce.
I don't think I'm Edgar Casey. People just say I look like a younger Edgar Casey when they compare the
Right.
photos. I don't think that's the case. But, we share some similarities, and that's about it. Fast forward to interview 2 and fast forward to interview 3, he full blown says, "Yes, I am the reincarnation of Edgar Casey. And maybe I'll write a book about it someday." And he did write that book about it. So he wrote the book about it. I think the person he co-wrote it with died.
The day before, yeah.
And then he dies 2 days later. So that
2 days later.
that I don't know if that's karma. I don't know what that is, but it's definitely negative.
Something.
Negative vibes, negative this, negative that. I mean, I don't like
Yeah.
to focus on negative, but let's just put it this way. I heard him admit, or at least proclaim, he's the reincarnation of a famous dude. Now, to a logical, regular human being, that's a major red flag. If someone says, "I'm the reincarnation of Napoleon, Cleopatra, anyone famous," they're an insane asylum candidate. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't assume that any word out of their mouth is true. That's a red flag, because I don't believe reincarnation exists. But if it did, mathematically, you're not going to be the reincarnation of a famous person. You're going to be mathematically the reincarnation of a non-famous person.
Exactly.
I've only heard 3 cases of people claim they're the reincarnation of a non-famous person.
Rare.
And in those 3 cases, they're a lot more realistic and a lot more potentially credible, because they're not bragging and boasting about being Abraham Lincoln. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they come across as, those 3 cases come across as pretty humble. And usually it's a young person.
Yeah.
They have a memory of a past life, whatever the case.
Yeah, Dalai Lama.
And I have a theory that that's familiar spirits assigned from those actual people. And people don't share that belief, but that's the only way I can explain it. Is if, let's say, Abraham Lincoln did have a familiar spirit assigned to him from birth to death. And then I personally believe the devil, who's in charge of these familiar spirits, who are demons, by the way, not a happy word. So the familiar spirit sounds a little nicer when you say it that way. But there's a guardian angel assigned from God and a familiar spirit assigned from the devil, just so there's the yin and yang, polar opposites. It's the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other shoulder. Everyone's heard of it, but has anyone actually literally believed it? I believe it on a literal level, and it's very unpopular belief system. But I think the devil has a limited number, only 1/3 of the host of heaven.
Right.
But God has, he has, what does he have?
The more
2/3?
powerful.
So
2/3.
2/3. He has more angels than there are demons.
Right.
And so the devil has to recycle. He has to reuse, reassign. And if they're assigned to Abraham Lincoln, rest in peace, tragically died. That familiar is assigned to, Rose Jones. And then Rose Jones dies, and then it's assigned down the road to a kid who has a memory of his past life. And it's really just the familiar repeating, "Hey, by the way, the dude I followed before you were born, he was big into bread, specifically the end of the bread, the heel of the bread. He was a big fan of the heel of the bread. And here's the address where he lived." So in Unsolved Mysteries, there's a guy who grew up with memories, loving heels of bread and remembering a house he'd never been to in a town he'd never been to. So he goes to the town. And the lady who knew the guy who used to live there said, "Do you like bread?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What part of bread do you like?" "I like the heel. I like the end." "He did too. You're the same person. It's perfect. You both love the heel of the bread." Oh my gosh. So that's the evidence they're the same person. They both like the
Well,
heel
same with
of the
Wilcock.
red. Not super concrete proof, but
Yeah.
Wilcock. Okay, the reason he blocked me on Twitter, and I admit I'm not the nicest person when. Okay, let's backtrack a little
Especially
bit.
on X.
So, after hearing Wilcock's third interview, I ignored him like the plague. Fast forward to the next time. Okay, would have been like 5 years later. 5 years later, I type in Montauk Project because I researched that for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I would say I'm actually an expert
Yeah.
at Preston B. Nichols's claims
One of them.
of the Montauk Project. I
Yeah, you
contacted
definitely
Preston B.
are.
Nichols. Preston B. Nichols DM'd me, shared secret information that he never shared with anyone else. And then
And
he
you
gave
talked
me
to
a phone
Campiro.
number and he said, call me. And I was a
Ah.
kid. I was a teenager at the time, and I didn't want to call some random dude
Yeah, no, he
on
was
the internet,
he was
even if he
creepy.
was Preston B. Nichols. I read all the Montauk books, so I was a fan, but I didn't want to talk to a guy that kind of gave me negative vibes a little bit on
Yeah.
that conversation. But anyway, I researched and researched and researched, and so I YouTube Googled it from time to time, and I saw a video, book review of the Montauk Project by Preston B. Nichols, and it was a video by David Wilcock.
Oh,
And
really?
it was the first video I ever clicked on from Wilcock's YouTube account. And to be honest, I've only clicked on two in my lifetime. One was
Yeah.
that one. I clicked it, I watched the whole thing, and I said to myself, even before watching it, if he knows something that I don't, then he will be an insightful person. Maybe he does have abilities. Uh, so I watched it, and he didn't know anything. He basically read the chapter headings. That's it. And maybe gave an AI version of a summary of the chapters
Yeah.
with zero insight. The difference
Hmm.
between Wilcock's review and my review would be I could tell you the ins and outs, ups and downs,
Yep.
truths and falsehoods, proven and unproven. I could
You
I
do
bought
know those books. Yeah.
every book mentioned inside the Montauk Project books. I bought
It's so
every book
funny. Yeah.
inside, and I read every book mentioned by Preston B.
From
Nichols.
Peter
Every
Moon
book
too. Yeah.
Preston mentioned, I bought and I read. I went to the Lowell Observatory that Preston B.
Did you
Nichols
really?
mentioned, and I bought a book in the gift shop that Preston
No
mentioned
way.
in his book. The observations by Percival Lowell, who
You did?
led to the discovery of Pluto. And so
Yeah.
I thoroughly researched the Montauk Project from A to Z, top to bottom, inside and out.
You have. I've talked to you. I can vouch
I
for
went to
that.
government
Yeah.
websites. I was able to prove with government
Even
documents.
Peter Moon knows that you're one of the experts on the whole thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I know you. I mentioned to you that in
I've shown him the
the
video.
second book, Adventures in Synchronicity, that it's mentioned that George Lucas used witches to enchant the film, so anyone watching
cool
Star
story.
Wars
Yeah.
would watch Star Wars and fall in love with it and be in a trance and think it was amazing. And
Yeah.
you were talking with Peter Moon, and you said Peter Moon said that's not in the book, and I was like, yeah, here's the page number.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember a book that he edited.
He doesn't
That's
actually.
that's kind of funny. He edited the entire book, and
He has.
he co-wrote the entire book, and he doesn't remember.
He doesn't.
That's understandable. It's understandable. He has a lot of information in his head.
He has
forgot
a
about
lot of books. He has his. He sent me a book, and I don't have it anymore. But it was. It's from Sky Publishing. It's his own publishing outfit. Sky Publishing USA, which is named after his daughter Sky, and she was a really nice person too. And his book that he sent me, I think it was Synchronicity in the Seventh Seal or something like that was the name of it.
I got that book
And
signed by
it
him.
was thick. You have it too? Yeah. It was
Yeah, I bought a
it-
copy,
it-
and it happened to be signed by him.
the output of like writing that he does is pretty far. It's a lot. And but I think, his AI, like it's totally like
You showed me he's experimenting with AI music. Yeah,
he experiments with all kinds of crap, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
it's fine. It's
And
fine. See,
it's
AI
fine.
is so new that I mean, when Midjourney
But
was
it's
brand
so
new, when Midjourney was brand new, I generated 1,000 max headroom images,
right.
and I shared probably 50 of them, and I got a bunch of thumbs up and likes, and people loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Then when
yeah.
people realized it was AI, people started hating it.
Oh,
So they
really?
love it when they objectively see it, but when they know it's AI slop, they're like, ah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But in the case, I mean, he's just experimenting. He's playing around with the music AI. It's
But he
definitely.
has a lot of information, and but I do remember this is years ago. I used to do a show with him, and it was with like every sometime I think it was twice a week, and we actually almost did a complete show just ourselves, me and Peter Moon. I did interview him, and we would talk on the phone. He'd call me sometimes, Peter Moon, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. He was just a real down to earth. He wasn't really too. I mean, you could if you could get him on a topic, he would talk 3 hours at least, on and on, uninterrupted. And you can go back to these recordings and listen to them if you want. Hours on like a dinner he had last night or something. Like the tiniest little detail, and somehow immediately within 1 minute 30 seconds he would mention Aleister Crowley
Mm-hmm.
or
I was about to say that.
L. Ron Hubbard, Jack Parsons, or
I was
somebody
about to
like that,
say that
Preston Nichols.
based on the books, he always interjected Crowley in every single
Always.
Montauk book he touched.
And L. Ron
He,
Hubbard.
he didn't care about time travel unless it somehow connected to Crowley. So he's
And
definitely
L.
a
Ron Hubbard.
Thelemite, Crowleyite. He
He
definitely
is.
loves Crowley. What do you
And
think?
L. Ron Hubbard. He can
I know, I know.
his whole claim to fame is that he was personal secretary to L. Ron Hubbard and
Hmm.
had all this power and stuff. I mean, who knows? But anyway, so let's get back. So David Wilcock was into the Montauk Project, doesn't know
He
it as
didn't
good
know
as you.
anything about it. He, just a surface level of here's the chapter
Summary.
header. That's it.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this guy doesn't know anything. He's not doesn't have
Yeah.
any insight whatsoever. So fast forward to 2018, the second Wilcock video I ever watched in my life, and I only watched it for 10 to 15 minutes. It was a live stream about 1 or 2 days after the Paradise, California fires,
Oh
which
God. Yeah.
burned down 16,000 structures and killed, I believe, 85 people.
Wow.
So it was a tragedy. It was it was kind of like the
Absolutely.
recent the recent Los Angeles fires that burned
Yeah.
down many buildings. It was
Pasadena.
kind of
Yeah.
like that. It killed many people, burned down many buildings. And Wilcock comes on saying, "I have a secret. It's a UFO announcement. It's an
Oh.
emergency." And I just logged into YouTube and I saw UFO. Maybe
Mm,
I typed UFO because occasionally I'm always looking for this UFO video I saw. Maybe 15 years ago, I was on YouTube, maybe 10 years ago, and I typed in UFO and I did an extreme search and I found a video in I can't remember what European country. And
mm,
it's a saucer flying, and the person filming it, I think they're in an apartment building and they have a really good view of this saucer.
mm,
And it's such a good video. Maybe it's Barcelona. I can't
mm.
remember the exact location, but it's such a clear video. It's so good. And this is before AI. This is before really good CGI. This is this video predates Secure Team 10. It predates Third Phase of Moon.
Oh my
So
God.
maybe
I
it was
remember
15
this.
years. Maybe it was 15 years ago. It was such a clear video. I always try to find it. I
Secure
couldn't
Team
find it.
10.
So anyway, Secure Scam 10 hoaxers, third phase of hoaxing scammers.
I
Those
heard
guys
they
are
watch
two
you too.
mega scammers,
Yeah.
total hoaxers. As the hoax
Yeah.
hunter, I just can't accept them.
Thousands of
Watch
views.
anything.
Yeah.
Those guys literally asked their sister to act and asked their sister, "Can you voice act for this UFO video?"
No.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, I saw this UFO and it was horrible. And
No
or it was
way.
amazing, whatever. And then people traced
It
it
was
to their sister.
horrible.
Anyway, so
Jeez.
the second Wilcock video I saw was a live stream. I saw him live, and he's like, "I have a huge UFO announcement. By the way, you know the Palisades fire? Yeah, I do
Oh.
remember them. They literally just happened hours ago." He's like, "Well, by the way, those were planned. Those were planned destruction of elevators that were hidden in the residents of Paradise, California. In some of this is like a Men in Black plot,
Yeah,
like the movie Men in Black, just
right.
really lazy, very really lazy
He
hoax.
thought Star
So
Wars was a documentary, you
I
know?
don't know if Wilcock invented this, but the way he's repeating it, it's kind of like Alex Jones hearing about a total scam and a total lie and just thinking it's solid gold. So Wilcock
Yeah,
says,
that's
in
exactly.
the closets of these residents is a is an elevator that goes down like 1,000 feet into an
No
alien
way.
base.
He said that.
That's the headquarters to the elevators that go 1,000 feet into the earth to the mega alien structure. And the
Hmm.
reason all of Paradise, California was burned down was to hide these entrances to the alien base. And that's
Bad.
just throwing a lie on top of a tragedy.
I know a
And every
person who
time I
lost
heard
their house
Wilcox
there too.
say that, I heard him say
Yep.
that, I had to just ignore his existence the rest
Yep.
of my life because it
There's a
was a scummy move.
It's very scummy. I know a person who to this day will not let up about Wilcock on that, and does not feel any remorse, like for not for like holding him account because the person lost their home in those fires, and so
Hmm.
anybody that was like saying it was, some people were saying it was like a weapon from outer space. Some people were saying it's this and that, but like so yeah, he would take anything, and so he had a weekly live show on Sundays that he would held, and but before I get back to that, he would just go through QAnon posts and just speculate. It was just hours of speculation, but he
Hmm.
he was like the producer, and so he had different cameras set up. It was almost like watching Tommy Wiseau or something. Like it was like he would put on like different costumes and like
Yeah.
he was kind of funny, you know what I mean?
I
But
mean,
like
people say he was funny, but I didn't know because I never watched any of his videos other than those
but
two.
like it did come in a little bit, like here and there. It was like but what definitely came through was that he thought everything was about him. The
Mm-hmm.
whole world, the universe, QAnon was sending him messages. I mean, to be fair, he was in a movie with the guy from Harry Potter. Um, what's his and Anne Hathaway was in the movie as well. Have you seen this movie? It's called Don Peyote. It's with Dan
Mm-hmm.
Fogler, who's in
No, I don't
Fantastic
think so.
Beasts. Okay, so it's some famous actresses and actors are in this movie, but it was made by this guy Dan Fogler, and he is the actor who plays in Fantastic Beasts. He's like the main guy,
Mm-hmm.
not the wizard, but the ordinary person, the Muggle
Hmm.
that has like the mustache and is in love with that
Yeah.
that girl and stuff. So Wilcox in that movie, and it starts with Dan Fogler waking up and expecting 2000. Remember when 2012 was the end of the world and everything? That's when Wilcox really got his jump, let's say, and he was really selling the end of the world and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And so he kept on selling the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so his whole reality became it's going to be the end of the world. It's
Yeah.
apocalyptic. It's going to be, so then my friend Todd
Mm-hmm.
Michael Schultz, who's Easton Ellis's partner, whatever, he somehow got involved with talking with people who were paying attention to David Wilcock and calling him out on his BS. Um, he turns out Wilcock was in L.A. and my friend Todd happened to be there, and he live streamed the event. And we're like, yeah, we're gonna get him to talk to Wilcock. And he goes right up to him, shakes his hand, and he says, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." He's like, "When is Ascension coming?" And David Wilcock straight up said, 10 years. Did you know that I think it would be 10 years ago that almost around the same time that he died,
Mm-hmm.
that he said that to my friend Todd.
Wow.
I don't know if it's been 10 years exactly, but it's been around 10 years he said that.
Mm-hmm.
So ascension for David definitely came, I guess. But like, so you got to understand that and then he became extremely isolated. And
Mm-hmm.
if people have pointed out, and when I was listening to his live streams, he was talking about all the health things he was doing. So he was like going keto and starving himself and then like and then like analyzing his urine and feces and
Mm-hmm.
like
I don't need to hear details on
no
that,
I
but
know
yeah,
but I'm just no but I'm just saying like that's the level of paranoia it
I
got
know, I
to,
know.
right?
Yeah,
you
I
know
heard
so
he couldn't manage his house. It's full of trash.
Right.
That's a sign
But
of
I gotta
mental
say,
instability.
but I also want to bring out, I think this is a big point, and is that there are people who definitely paid attention to his every single move.
Hmm.
So when you have that
No,
happening on top of the
well,
paranoid
I mean, when you're
schizophrenic,
famous, you're going to get stalkers. It
that's
comes
right.
hand in hand with it.
Exactly. And so but that was happening. And I do want to point that
Yeah.
out, that the stalkers were
I
stalking
just
him.
based on looking at Twitter, I see he definitely had at least two or three, and they're still
Yeah,
posting to this day, and they're still obsessed with him to this day. I mean, it's kind of weird. It's
absolutely.
weird.
And like you said years ago to me, I think, and because I started to get wrapped up in these people who were covering Wilcock. Like if he went live, they went live and would dissect every single word that he said.
Hmm.
And then they got wrapped up in lawsuits with him and stuff like that, right? So David Wilcock got, was sued by Gaia TV, got wrapped up with Gaia TV, got, his big downfall came with when he got hooked up with Corey Good.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, and he went to Gaia TV. He had some success there with Jay Widener but then Corey Good came along and they apparently got millions of dollars of funding, like from out of nowhere. And Jay Widener was even surprised about that. But then Gaia dropped him due to all the Corey's lies and schemes and everything and all
Hmm.
that. And so he became more isolated, and all he had was his live show. And a lot of people don't point out too that his dog passed away too, like a month earlier, and that will devastate somebody. Like like
Yeah.
to level, like when a pet dies, it's like a part of you dies. And so, it's a
Well,
compounded thing with David
I know.
Wilcock. I mean, so rest in peace to David Wilcock. And
Rest in peace to the guy. I mean, he wasn't a friend of mine, but I could
he
still
wasn't a friend
say
of
rest
mine
in
either,
peace
but
to anyone
yeah,
that passes
yeah,
on. It's a
you know,
sad
pe-
thing when anyone passes on, especially when they're confused and lost, and especially the way he ended it. And other people say he's still alive, or that's not true, or couldn't have been. Well, first of all, someone said, "Oh, everything he said was true," and
mhm,
I responded to the person, someone's end is connected to someone's life permanently. How
mhm,
they end out their life, you can draw conclusions on a permanent connection. And
well,
no, everything he said was not true. It's clear
yeah,
uh, that is the he
no, yeah,
he mentioned lies nonstop. Whether he knew there were lies or not can be debated. I think it's clear he had issues. I mean, first of all, his identity was another man. If you think you're the
that's a
reincarnation
good
of someone
point.
else, you're
That's a
going to
great point.
psychologically almost lose your mind,
That's
because
exactly
no
right.
longer are you yourself, you're someone else. So you may be
That's
living up
right.
to someone else. And even that in and of itself could really hurt someone's
That's a
psyche,
really good point.
someone's ego, someone's sense of self.
Yep. You
You
know who
if
who
you're
said that
if you're
recently?
constantly thinking you're someone else, and you're constantly hearing from people like
Hmm.
me, you're not the reincarnation of Edgar Casey. I tweeted Wilcock, I think, only two times. I tweeted him once, "You're not the reincarnation of Edgar Casey," which he ignored because he probably heard it 100,000 times.
Yeah.
And the second time I tweeted him, and yes, he was pretty mean, okay? But you got to
Hmm.
understand my perspective. I grew up hearing about Edgar Casey. I watched shows about him. I read a couple books from him, and I respected him to an extent. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a famous psychic, and
Very famous. Probably the most
he read the
famous.
Bible every single day of his life, and I knew
Yep.
that about him. He was called the sleeping prophet, and
Yep.
he attributed his uh, visions to reading the Bible every day.
Really?
And so I tweeted to
No.
Wilcock, who probably mentioned something about Edgar Casey. I said to him, "You know what? Edgar Casey read the Bible every single day of his adult life.
Hmm.
Every
Do
single day of
you?
his
Yeah.
adult life, he read the Bible every single day." And I said to Wilcock, I said, "I would be surprised if you've read the entire Bible once in your entire life compared to who you're claiming to be." And the association is, if you're that person, you would have similar traits, you would do similar things. And just based on the new agey thing he posted, whatever it seemed anti-Christian to me. It seemed
Yeah.
anti-Bible to me. And that's why I responded saying, "I would be surprised if you read the entire Bible." in your life,
It's
period.
true.
And he
I
blocked
bet he
you
did.
immediately. He clicked block, and I understand why he clicked block. And
Whatever.
it wasn't
Yeah.
much of a loss to me because I didn't follow his stuff.
No.
It just maybe someone retweeted it, maybe it popped up in someone's response. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Wilcock was very sad and
Yeah.
confused individual. And that Jay guy says,
Jay
"Oh, too
Widener.
bad." Jay guy says, "Too bad the Corey Good scammed him so bad. He had a really good gig with Gaia."
Right.
And that's true. That's true. Corey Good's a mega hoaxer, but from my perspective as the hoax hunter, Gaia is a major hoax machine.
I
So Gaia
absolutely.
is full of hoaxes and lies, New Age lies, anti-Bible
Do
lies,
you know what Jay?
anti-Christian lies.
Do you
Whether
know
you're
what Jay
Christian or
came up?
not, it's up to you. But I
Yeah.
personally think Jesus is the Son of God. That's
Do
what
you
I
know?
personally believe.
I do too. Do you know that Jay Widener, the guy who directed all those Gaia things and was in the head of the whole film department, the person
Mhm.
that's saying that, and he's gonna write a book about David and reveal all the truth. And it's like you're immediately thinking of monetizing his death. Same thing with Corey. Oh, we're gonna make a documentary as he's crying and Lou's lost his best friend. He's talking about making a documentary and making money off it. Get out of here. Like you should be
Yeah, that's
grieving. Like
stupid.
so,
Those
but
are
Jay also he's behind the Nazca mummy. He's the person behind the Nazca
Jay.
mummies, man. He's behind it, yeah. Jay
Yeah.
Widener.
Well, I can tell you this Jay guy, I follow him, I think, or at least
Jay Widener, yeah.
it recommends me his tweets. So
Yeah.
I don't know much about the guy, but he's in the infant stages. We're talking he's in the 10 years ago stages of, for the first time in his life, realizing the earth isn't flat.
Oh, different guy then,
Because
probably.
at least he's woken up to that. He's woke because his tweets, and I've read about 10 of them, are
Hmm.
like, you know what? Earth isn't flat because, and then he gives reasons people
I've
gave
never
10
seen
years
that
ago.
from him. He might be a different guy then, yeah.
No, it's the same guy. It's the
Jay
Jay guy.
Widener?
It's the Jay Widener who produced the David Wilcock
Right.
crap.
He said
It's
he's
the
flat earth.
same dude.
He's
I've
a flat
watched,
earther though?
no, he's a
Okay.
brand newly emerged for the first time non flat earther.
Okay.
It means he just now realized 2 months
He's
ago
old.
that the
Yeah.
earth isn't flat. So 2 months ago, he just now realized. How do I know? Because he's giving the responses people who just woke up to that 10 years ago started to give. You know what?
Yeah.
I think it isn't flat.
He is
Well,
like
no
that.
crap, it's not flat. So that tells me
Yeah.
he has to be
He's
not
very
the
late to catch on
sharpest tool in the
trends.
shed, but I'm
Yeah.
sure he's a good producer, this and that, here and there. And it's
Yeah,
good he's woken up to that fact. But if you said he's behind the Nazca mummies, I
he
mean,
is.
the Nazca mummies is a mega hoax.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just part of the facilitation of the hoax, and
No.
maybe he's
He
not
was
the
like,
central figure. I don't know.
no, he was definitely, if you look up the Gaia trailer, for the Nazca mummy,
Hmm.
he's there in the very beginning, and he
Okay, but
says, and
he might have believed in it.
he went to Peru and
Well,
like
if he
and
believed
everything
in
and
flat Earth two
filmed it.
months ago, he might have believed in the Nazca mummies two
He
months
was
ago.
not just believed in it, he produced like it and like promoted it as like a big thing, went on all the talk shows about the
Well,
Nazca mummy and all that. So Jay,
it
but
would
he
mean he's
also
less of a hoaxer and more of a David Wilcock
you
believer in
watch
really
his.
dumb things.
I think he's probably. I'm sure Widener has definitely come across your work as well. But he's not beyond that. Like he is very close to this community or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like, so and he was wrapped up in a lawsuit too with Corey Good and all that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, but he produces some. He has made some good movies. Some movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's called Mystic Fire. I used to get them in when I had no idea who he was. Mystic Fire videos. And he did. You remember a guy named Terence McKenna that would go on? He went on Art Bell once. He's pretty
Yeah,
famous now. Talks about psychedelic this or that. And
I'm not a fan of Terence McKenna.
well,
I
he
know
did a
he's dead. I know he's dead. He's the famous drug user who went on trips and saw the machine
yeah he
L.
was yeah
I made a
exactly.
video about the
He's
machine
known for
L.
that. But this one he did
Terence McKenna.
documentary.
See,
Yeah.
when people are born people are born with almost Dungeons and Dragons statistics.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to break it down on a dungeon, I only played
It's
Dungeons and
true.
Dragons once in my life. I'm
I've
not a
never played
D&D
it.
fan.
Yeah.
My roommates dragged me into a game once, so I don't.
No,
I'm
really.
just using this as an analogy. But Terence McKenna was born with positive a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
He was born with positive a lot of charisma.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I listened to out a couple hours of Terence McKenna, and he can talk for 2 hours and not say a
Straight.
single word, not a single word, not a single coherent thought will
You
escape
don't think?
his mind. But he'll talk for 2 hours, and people will eat it
True.
up.
Yeah.
But the people eating it up have to be on LSD. They have to be on heroin. They have
I
to be
mean,
coked up on cocaine. They have to be on
uh,
marijuana, the strongest skunk weed on planet Earth, to think there's anything in there. There's nothing. I literally had to edit 45 minutes of Terence McKenna's video down to 2 minutes to get him to talk about machine elves for 2 minutes on a
oh,
coherent
yeah.
level. I had to edit 45 minutes
Yeah.
down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And to this day, that video gets strikes left and right,
Really?
strikes left and right, strikes left and right, because potheads all day click report. Oh, report this
Why?
guy. He's making Terence McKenna make sense for 1 second. And what does Terence McKenna say for 2 minutes? If you cut away, we're talking 43 minutes of BS. If you cut 43 minutes of nonsense down the tubes, Terence McKenna does say that he believes the machine elves could potentially be dead humans, ghosts,
Hmm.
spirits, the
Hmm.
afterlife, evidence of the afterlife.
Hmm.
And potheads and New Agers don't want to hear that. Potheads and New
Hmm.
Agers, they're about aliens, they're
Yep.
about Bigfoot being interdimensional. They don't want to hear
That's
about
true.
ghosts and spirits because ghosts and spirits is too close to the Bible. And if it's too close to the Bible, maybe the devil and God exists. And if it's too close
Right.
to that, maybe Jesus is the Son of God.
Right.
It always revolves and comes back to is Christianity true
Does.
or false?
It
And
kind
these
of
people
does.
are die hard, dead set on believing Christianity is false.
It's
It's
weird.
their true and through and true belief
It
that
is. It's a
UFOs and
worldview.
aliens and
But
interdimensional Bigfoot is their God, but Jesus is never going to be their God because they're
right.
super mega anti-Christian people. How do I know this? I've just read
They're out
many
there.
books. I've read many New Age books. Okay,
I've met them, man. Yeah. Well, I would
and
say
I've read
so.
two New Age books that talk about aliens throughout the whole book, and they
Yeah.
always have to put in. I mean, this is two books that were very similar in the fact they were both telepathically transmissioned
Channeled.
from
Yeah.
alien to the author. That's so there's way more than two books, but I've read two books that were
Oh, I
two
think I know what
different
you're talking about.
authors. One
Maybe.
of the books is called Starseed Transmissions, and I
I
have it in
think
the
I've heard of it.
garage. I have it in the
Okay.
garage. Starseed Transmissions. The other book was
Cool.
like from 1914. It was a
Okay.
very
Oh
antique
wow.
occult book that someone gave me for free. I
Interesting.
buy occult books, so I bought this occult book on eBay, and they gave me a free book with it. I'm like,
No
oh,
way.
cool, two
That's
two books.
cool.
So the free book they gave me with it was like this thin. It was very
Oh,
thin.
cool.
It was only like 50 pages or something.
Hmm.
And I read it, and like on the first 10 pages, it bashes Jesus the whole time.
No way. Oh
The first 10
God.
pages, it says Jesus is nothing. He ain't
Oh,
jack squat. It had to bash Jesus. And this is a book from like 1914. It's about the occult, it's about
yeah.
spirituality, it's about
It's been going
uh,
on a while.
secret things. And they had to bash the Son of God at the beginning,
They do it. It's been going
almost
on
as
a
an
long time, John.
initiation ritual
It is to
for this
show who
is
you
only
are.
for non-believers. If you're
Right.
it's very messed up. So the
It's messed up.
Starseed Transmissions book also bashes Jesus to an extent.
I'll say this, McKenna. So McKenna talked about a lot of different things. I think you made it. So the video I was talking about, it's all about alchemy and the
Mhm,
story of alchemy, and it's a history lesson essentially, of how John Dee Terence McKenna was studied John Dee and
mhm,
knew alchemy and knew the whole story of Edward Kelly and John Dee and how they went around Europe into the courts of Frederick II of Emperor Palpatine, whatever, and all the courts and the whole entire history that was going on in the early Renaissance and all. Like
mhm.
he was an encyclopedia about like stuff like that. And you're right, he had that like charisma, and he even said that. He said I have this gift. I don't. I have this gift where I can speak and come. He said it came to him one time. Like I've read almost pretty much everything that he wrote
Mhm.
and read, and he also did a really good lecture on Finnegan's Wake, which is the James Joyce last book, which is sort of
Mhm.
like it's one of the hardest books to read, it's not even in English, barely. It's in so many different languages and all this stuff. And he did a really good lecture on just that book. And so he did different genres, but I agree, like the druggy
I
pot,
mean,
tripping
I don't
types.
dislike Terence McKenna. I don't dislike him. I agree with him on the afterlife to an extent, but
He says different things, you know what
I
I
just
mean?
didn't like the fact that he did promote drug use to an extent. He's like
Yeah,
it's a way to expand the mind, and I
yeah,
disagree.
I disagree
I
too.
don't think you need drugs to expand your
I
mind.
d- I agree
Um,
with you. Yep.
but
But
Terence McKenna was born with so much charisma that no matter what he said, no matter how nonsensical it was, he
he
would get fans. People
he
would love it. I'm
he
sure Joe
even
Rogan loves the guy and probably
he
worships the guy,
does. He probably, yeah,
just based on
exactly.
the drug connection alone.
That's exactly
But
right.
David Wilcock was also born with some charisma.
Yeah,
And no matter what David Wilcock said, he got fans.
yeah.
See, I was personally born with like -5 charisma.
Me too. Yeah, I know.
So no matter what I said, if it's true, if it's hard hitting, if it's me researching something for 10 years, it doesn't matter. My
Yeah.
-5 charisma I was born with, people will be like,
Well,
eh.
I don't agree with that personally, but anyway, I think you're up there. I think you're like
If I have +1 charisma, it's only because I really worked hard at it. Whereas other people are
mm,
born with +10, other people are born with +20. Like
you
the
have this
president of the United States.
natural,
Wouldn't you agree? The president of the United States was born with like +20 charisma. I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
why
yeah.
he's the
Well,
president. You know?
exactly. And I think you can say that like all the presidents probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's a whole article called "On Charisma" by Max Weber, who wrote
Hmm.
about this stuff. Like, and he says, and it like predates like the World War II guy from Germany that I'm not going to say.
Hmm.
His with an H.
Yeah.
It talks about how he had a lot of that charisma and how it
Most definitely. Yeah.
can be used for good or bad. So
Yeah. Any
um,
world leader has it. Putin. Any. You know.
right,
Uh,
Putin, good example. So it's something, but it's a power. So yeah, and you I don't know if it's something that you can actually work at. I guess you can,
well,
but
what I was gonna say is the reason I brought it up
yeah,
is Lucifer, the devil, Satan himself, has like +100 charisma.
that's right.
And on this
That's
planet Earth,
exactly right. That's
charisma is worshipped. Charisma is worshipped as a
absolutely
trait to be praised.
right.
And so
Looks
you see
maxing,
a famous actor, you see a famous actor, they have +15 charisma, and they're praised no matter how bad their take is, no matter how wrong their take is,
yep,
whether it's politics, whether it's sports, it doesn't matter. No matter
doesn't
how
matter.
good or bad they are, their
It's true.
positive karma, they'll get worshipers. People will worship, people will stalk them, people will bow at their
Yep,
feet, people will follow and stalk and love and worship anything they
yep,
say and anything they do. And it's
yep.
praised on this devilish world as a holy, amazingly wonderful trait.
Mm,
And just as someone with negative charisma, from my perspective, it's not my fault
yeah.
I was born with like -1 charisma,
I,
-5
I don't
charisma,
think
whatever.
you are. I think I
Maybe I was
think
born with zero charisma.
no.
It's not a negative trait. It's not a negative thing
No.
because the devil has 100 plus charisma,
That's right.
and it's actually a devilish, evil, horrifically bad trait. When you
Well,
really,
you can't be
one third
deceived
of the
by your
hosts of
eyes.
heaven, one third
Yeah,
of the hosts of heaven fell for a scam
that's right.
because
Well,
of that trait.
that's
That's my
right.
perspective.
I agree. But I think what happened too was that, like, okay, so I just put out like literary examples,
Mhm.
like a character. I'm almost going to say Galadriel, but it doesn't fit. The White Witch of Narnia. Okay, she's like the evil, evil, evilest person, right?
Mhm.
And like so evil, but she's beautiful to
Mhm.
look at. She has all this charisma, and all
Mhm.
this aura and all this thing, but she's the most evil. So the lesson there is that what is beauty is not always true. or
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
And but the three are always connected. So goodness, truth is and beauty are always connected. So the three of
Hmm.
them are all sort of connected in like a sort of a trinity, I guess. But the good, the true, and the beautiful always don't always come together. So especially like you said, Lucifer, who just wants to be looked at and deceived. See, we're deceived with our eyes, and that's our human. And that's why I say that my other friend John Evans,
Hmm.
who does I do the Bible study with weekly, and is having a baby. Congratulations to John. He tries to listen to the show, but he is having a baby, but he was born. He's blind. I think you know,
Hmm.
and and so, but he's done all this amazing positive work. But I said to myself, I'm like, and I said to him, it's probably a blessing in
Yeah.
today's
Could be a
world
blessing in disguise.
because people are tricked by appearances and by
Hmm.
charisma. It's you know what I mean. So yeah, you're dead on about that. And I think you know that is why Lucifer fell was his pride, was his pride and his
Hmm.
lack of humility and the fact that he wouldn't bow to Jesus. Now I tagged. I wanted to bring this up. I tagged you, and I don't know if you saw this in a Instagram. I don't know how this came about, but
Was it the
uh,
soda pop one?
yes, the Father Ripperger. That's Father Ripperger. I don't know how or why he's on Tucker Carlson. Somehow he got on Tucker Carlson. I think because he went on that Sean Ryan show, and and people saw him there, and he was awesome. But I've known him for a long, long time,
Hmm.
and he's kind of I wrote him way back in the day, and I wrote him. I was like, I think you know the people at the church, you know, they might be a demon. I don't know, blah blah blah. I forget exactly what it was, but I had some concerns about a local church. And he wrote back that like I was evil for cause or not evil, but he said I was causing discord in the church. I was like, no, no, you got the wrong idea. I'm a big fan. I just wanted to, say hi.
Hmm.
But he was on and he said specifically in his experiences over I think 20 something years, 30 years of exorcisms. And this guy isn't like beautiful or have like charisma or anything like that.
Hmm.
He has like a negative 10 charisma, which is kind of what you want. Anyway, but he's very straight to the point. He says that sugar is like makes its appearances and is like what do you like in sessions with demons and people he'll look at them and say what is it that you want or something like that. I don't know exactly how it's exchanged.
Hmm.
But there's got to be certain rules, I'm sure. But they say sugar or so, what was it, soda pop, you know?
Yeah.
So,
The little lady was
and
addicted to soda pop, but it was
and
her
my
secret.
my brother Christopher, my older, who you met, the jerk, and he's a geneticist too. Um, he used to. I would see him. It was almost like beer. It was like beer. Some people get a case of beer and crack them open and drink, and we would play
Hmm.
video games, and he would just. He had to have Coca-Cola Classic.
Hmm.
Had to have it. Had to have it. And there are certain, like even me, I haven't now getting older and having to watch my sugar levels and stuff like that. Like I've noticed, like since I've cut it out almost to zero, as much as I can, um, a big difference, and how strong of an effect it does have, and
Yeah.
like how it could be possibly tied or used as a weapon for the demonic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I never thought about
Yeah. I
that.
cut. I cut out 100% of soda sugar. I've had diet soda specifically for the past
Me too.
year straight, maybe 13, 14 months straight.
Me too.
Nothing but 100% zero beverages, 100% beverage, zero sugar
Just
food.
water. Yep.
Occasionally, I'll have some mini donuts with sugar,
Yep.
and that's a rare scenario. But
I just had a
I
milkshake
feel a
tonight.
lot better. I feel
Me too.
10 times better with zero sugar.
My
And
eyesight came back
when you
better.
do take a bite of real sugar, you're like blown away by how sweet it
Sweet
is.
it
Like it's
is. Yes,
horrifically sweet.
it
So
is.
even if I cheat and have a snack, I can't have too much because
Right.
it's overpowering
It is.
how much sugar is in things. It's when you look at you've seen the video of how many spoonfuls is in one Coca-Cola.
Absolutely,
It,
yeah.
it's poison. So I relate sugar to poison these days.
Yeah, it
I
really
think
is.
I think
We
it's being
find
pushed. It's clearly a $1 billion industry. Just watched the. Have you seen the Pop Tart movie with Jerry Seinfeld
no,
made that
there's a
Pop Tart movie?
oh, that's right. Oh my God. I know the
Big
beanie big
Sugar, it's just joked about in the movie, but
oh,
Big
okay.
Sugar, they were the sugar industry. They were, they'll put 10 times too much sugar
Oh yeah.
in some cereal, in some Pop Tarts. They don't care. They don't care about the
Yeah.
consumer. They just want to sell sugar. They want their sugar stocks to go up.
And it's refined sugar too. It's not like the sugar cane or it's not it's just that white powder sugar. But yeah, it's so pushing, it's in everything. When you
so,
come off of it, it's like a drug, you know.
so during that exorcism, that priest says, "Oh, uh, is soda pop something you're struggling with?" And the lady's like, "Yeah, I'll have a." The demon literally told him that
I
pop
guess
is
said
her
pop.
weakness.
Yeah. What
And
is it
then
that
when
you
when
want?
when
Yeah.
she breaks, when the demon leaves, he asked the lady, no longer the demon, and she
Yeah.
admits, "Yeah, I'll have. Yeah, I treat myself with one soda pop a day." And if someone says that after a demon just admitted as their weakness, they're not treating themselves with one soda pop. They're treating themselves with probably a couple 2 liters.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like when a cop pulls you over, like says, "How many have you had?" They always say, "Oh, just a couple small beers." So, yeah.
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 So, so it seems like a true story. It seems like it's kind of scary.
But yeah, it is kind of scary. Like just like I didn't like because I always thought like why does sugar have such a hold over people? Why does Coca-Cola especially? Why was my like
I
I
mean,
see
no specific negative vibes toward this individual, but reminds me of the president. He has a Coke button. He pushes it every day and gets a
he
Coke.
does?
On
That's
his desk, he
incredible.
only has one button, and it's for Coca-Cola.
That's amazing. I didn't know
It's for
that.
someone in the kitchen to give him a cold Coke, and he
You
doesn't drink
know,
diet. He does not drink diet.
that's so funny. That maybe it is demonic. But I think in moderation everything's fine. But like
Yeah.
the diet like there's the young pope, it was a series with John Malkovich and Jude
Mhm.
Law played an American pope,
Yeah, I saw it.
and you can clearly see that Jude Law's personality and his acting is based on Donald Trump. It's 100% a
Mhm.
Donald Trump type voice and character and this and that, and he has a button on his desk, and every morning or something like that, every morning he gets a diet coke though, and
Mhm.
he has a it's like his breakfast, his morning ritual, diet coke, but that's funny. I didn't know that about Trump
Yeah,
having
I
that
told
button.
my nephew that I only have diet now, and he's like, "Oh, don't you know how bad NutraSweet is, and how bad
Aspartame,
saccharin
yeah.
is, and aspartame?" And I told him, "Yes, I do know how bad those things are. I did a
Yeah.
report in school on how bad they are."
Did you really?
The guy
Yeah.
who the guy who invented NutraSweet said it's not. We haven't done any human testing on it. We only
Oh
have
wow.
lab rats,
Right.
and according to his opinion, it shouldn't have been gone to the market, but it wasn't up to him. It was up to the company
Yeah.
that hired him, and they did it for money. But you got to understand, a little bit of sweet saccharin, aspartame isn't going to make you obese like sugar will. Sugar
Right.
will make you obese. You'll
Exactly.
die from the obesity
Yeah.
1,000 times faster than you'll die from whatever the saccharin side effects are.
Exactly.
From my perspective, that's a fact. And
Yeah.
so
Just
it's a
tell them
lesser evil, but it's a much lesser
much
evil.
lesser evil. Yeah, just tell them it's you do Coke Zero. Then like everybody loves Coke Zero. Oh, well, that's pretty cool then. You know, the
Mhm.
people that I've met in California, it was like so funny. One time I asked a group of people, I think it was my niece's friends or whatever. I was like, "Hey, do you guys want something to drink? We have Sprite, no. Coca-Cola, no. We have Diet Coke, no. We have orange, no. Root beer, no." And I looked around, I was like, Coke Zero, and they're like, what? Coke Zero? Yeah, we'll have that. It's like,
I
why is
prefer
Coke
Diet Coke
Zero?
to Coke
I do
Zero.
too. Coke Zero
Coke
has, I
Zero
mean,
tastes
Diet Coke is.
gross,
Did
but
you ever
Diet
try?
a little bit
You ever
better.
tried a little lime with the Diet Coke? Little lime in the
Well,
Diet Coke.
I'm not a big fan of lime. I like
You're
lemon.
not, or
I like
lemon.
lemon.
Those are pretty good.
I
But
could give it a shot. I haven't tried it.
yeah. So how's the movie going?
Movie's going pretty good. Behind me is Yokohama, and I've never been to this location, but I actually have been to Yokohama many
Was
times.
that one of the backgrounds? How did you choose that? Is
In
that one of the?
Ultima Online, there's a Yokohama server, and I do have a character on
Oh,
Yokohama on
no
Ultima
way.
Online. So I have played it virtually speaking. I've virtually been to
That's
Yokohama.
cool.
Um,
I'm on
movie's going pretty
Mars.
good.
Yeah.
You're on Mars.
I don't know.
Uh,
This wouldn't be Mars actually. I don't think. This
and
is
some alien planet, some random alien planet.
yeah.
But the
But
movie's
yeah.
going pretty
Anyway,
good. So I'm
that's
bumping
good.
up. See, I'm not a rich person. You know what I mean? So there's a good chance I only get to go to Japan one time in my life.
Yeah.
I guess if the movie's successful, I can go back and revisit the great places. But realistically, looking at it on a realistic level, might be the only time I get to go there. So
Mm.
I'm bumping up the days. I'm bumping them up. You got to understand. I bumped it from 7 days to 10 days, right?
Okay. Wow.
And I'm bumping it up to 16 days.
Are you good?
So I'm
Good.
going to
That's
be there for
awesome.
16 nights. 16
Nice.
nights and maybe 17, 18 days,
That's
16 nights.
amazing. Oh, that's
I'm
so
bumping it up
cool.
to at least half a month. Why? Because it's so cheap.
Why not?
The
Is it?
yen is so weak
Is
that
it?
it's like $45 a night to
I
stay
want to
in
go, man.
the Airbnb is only $45 a night. That
That's
is too good of a
crazy.
deal. It's too good of
That's
a
a
deal.
really good deal.
I already
For a,
booked my flight,
you
and
did?
I should have booked it 2 weeks ago because 2 weeks ago it was $400 less. And after I booked it, we're talking 24 hours after I booked it. The headlines and all the news are saying that airline gas prices are going through the roof.
Right.
So
That's
I think
right.
I booked it at the right time. I had
That's
a really
good.
strong prompting, book it now. And I booked it,
Wow.
and I booked it with 2 check on, 1 carry on. If you don't specifically book how many check on and carry on, you're going to pay mega fees.
Yeah.
And you can even be locked into, oh, you don't have a ticket that even allows any changes on your check on carry on.
Wow.
And they'll bump it up. They could bump it up $1,000 to even check 2 bags.
What
So
airline
I've
goes
made
that?
sure 2 check on, 1 carry on, and on the way back, I do have changes option available. On
Oh,
the way
that's good.
back, I'm going to check 3 because I'm going to buy,
Wow.
not that I'm
Yeah.
going to spend a lot of money, but I'm going to buy a bag's worth of,
Whatever.
props for the movie, authentic props for the movie.
That's
I'm
cool.
going to be buying sofubi and just cool stuff I see and find. I mean, even cheap stuff like a Chinese, or in this case, it's going to be a Japanese lantern.
Japanese. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm going to buy some Japanese lanterns, and
Nice.
I researched it to the point where I'm going to the Japanese Home Depot. I'm not going
No
to buy a
kidding.
rip-off-ville. I'm going to go to the
Right.
Japanese version of Home Depot and get some
That's
dirt
cool.
cheap paper Japanese lanterns. And I'm going to put those Japanese lanterns outside of places here in California, and I'm going to blend actual Japan with a, a Hollywood Japan that I'm making here in California. And I don't have a huge set. I don't have a huge anything. That's why I'm going to Japan to get the real thing. Hollywood is obsessed with spending $20 million recreating one block of Japan and not actually
Yeah.
going to Japan. If they just
Right.
spent a couple $1,000, they could go to the real Japan.
A lot of
I'm
red
not going to
tape.
spend no
Yeah.
$20 million building a fake Japan, one block of a fake Japan. I'm going to the
Right.
real Japan, and there's endless possibilities. And I'm going to, I have a script. I'm writing a script specific, and I'm going to try to hire actors and actresses, but to be realistically honest, not everything comes to plan. Not everything's going
Right.
to happen exactly how I want it. And so things are going to be improvised. Things are going to change from day to day. And I'm possibly not even going to sleep because I need to get these night shots, right?
Right. No,
It's
you
going to
have
be
to sleep.
insane. It's going to
Yeah.
be insane, but I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to
That'd
have
be
some fun.
fun. Have you looked at restaurants and things like that too?
You got to understand, I'm going there to film movies,
Right.
a movie, specifically Necktie Lummaton, and I see all these Instagram videos. Here's a 4.5-star restaurant. Don't let the
Yeah.
4.5 fool you. It's the best restaurant in Japan,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's only 1,000,000 yen a plate.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to spend no million yen on sushi. I don't eat sushi, and I'm going
Oh,
to
really?
be probably eating at 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Mini Mart, Lawson, and the dirt cheap
Wow.
convenience stores because
Just
I'm
for
going
the
to be
movie.
eating on the cheap, just like I'm Airbnb on the cheap.
For the movie.
It's about being the dirt, grittiest, cheapest
That's
experience
cool.
and filming the street, getting the shot. Even if I have to stand there for 5 hours and wait for the tourists to leave, I'm going to get the shot. It's about getting the shot and doing the work. And I'm going to be happy with the results of what's on my SD cards. I'm buying
That's
the most
impressive.
expensive SD cards in the world, the highest quality SD cards to capture the best frame rate of
Wow.
the quality I'm going to record at.
I heard SD cards are going like through a little phase of like the price or something like that.
I bought two SD cards for the movie about a year ago, maybe 7 months ago, and they were dirt cheap. You know what?
Hmm.
I actually bought them during Black Friday. So it was
So
whenever Black Friday was
yeah,
last year.
SD card is just a memory card that you just
Yeah, it's just a
what is
memory
okay.
card for the camera. But if you don't buy specifically high frame rate ones, you're going to end up with choppy footage and it's going to be worthless.
Oh, oh
You
wow.
can't just buy a random SD card. It has to be a
Really?
video highest frame rate SD card, and
Okay.
those ones are going through the roof. And I researched
What
why are
do
they
they
so
look like?
expensive now? Why did the price go up 4 times?
What are these things?
Extreme, what is that? 16 gigabytes.
I don't know.
I on Black Friday last year, I bought two 64 gigabyte ones, and those are
Yeah,
too
16,
small. Those are too small. But I bought the highest frame rate.
32, and 32.
But I'm pretty much going to have to get some 256 gigabyte or even the
We'll
512. I don't know
send you a
because
few of these.
I'm going to have to get the best of the best and hope that space doesn't run out because I'm going to be filming for hours and hours and hours and hours. I'm going to be there for
That's pretty
16
cool.
nights.
It's amazing, man. That's so cool. I would just eat ramen, like noodles. You know what
Well,
I
I'm
mean?
on a no
7-Eleven.
carb diet,
Oh,
but
that
I'll
too.
break
No,
that
just the
no carb.
broth.
I'll break the
Just
no carb diet and I'll give the 7-Eleven egg salad
yep.
sandwich a try because they're famous.
Egg
They're
would be good.
famously the best sandwiches at the
The egg
Japanese
salad, really?
7-Elevens. Yeah,
I didn't even know
they're
that.
like dirt cheap. They're like $3 or something, and they're really big and apparently super delicious. I'll give it a
That's
shot.
amazing. I love that you are part of the film and you want it to be gritty like that. And
Yeah,
I love the way you put it, which and it's so poetic in a way, is that it's a mashup or a collaboration, a collage of Bubblegum Alley and Piss Alley.
yeah.
And those two things colliding makes Necktie Lummaton. And I
Mhm.
love that. And I love that you're like as a director and as the actor and as the creator and writer, um, jumping right into the experience and knowing too that things are going to happen not according to plan, but you have to be ready and for those happy accidents, that are going to come
Yeah.
along.
David Lynch said, you have a vision of what's in your head. And then he basically said, probably in different words, but how I interpreted it as
I don't know.
what's going to happen is never going to be what's in your head, ever.
Yeah, that's right.
You
He's
could
right.
spend $1 trillion and spend 1,000,000 years, and what's in your head will never be 100% fully
So
translated on
true.
what's on the screen. It's
Yep.
you have two different universes. You have the
So
perfect
true.
picture in your head and the non-perfect picture on the screen. You
Yeah.
try your best to translate it and get it from here to there, and it's always going to be different. Like I have a perfect movie. I've already seen the movie in my head,
Right. Right.
but what's going to end up on the screen will be something different.
Gonna be
I hope
different. That's true.
it's as good as how I envision it, and being realistic, honest, it might not be even close. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try my best.
Yeah.
I, as a director, the hardest part, the number one hardest part of a movie, and this is after building my own props for
Yeah. That's
years.
right. You
This is
build your
already
own
building my
props
own
too.
sets, creating my own wardrobe from
Very
scratch,
good ones too, by the
custom
way.
wardrobe pieces you've never seen. I
I
purposely
haven't
never
seen
showed
those.
them
No.
because they're supposed to be seen as the final masterpiece,
Yeah.
hopefully, or just the final work of art. You can judge whether it's a masterpiece or not. But the hardest part as a director is getting talented actors together in one spot for a dirt
Really?
cheap price.
Yeah.
I'm not rich, so I can't hire the best of the best actors and actresses. But I don't care.
Five
I don't care
bucks.
about the best of the best. I just want to get some actors and actresses, period. Even if they're art
Yeah.
students and they're going to work for cheap, even if they have no experience at all, if they want to act, that's the hardest
Right.
thing. To actually get them in one spot
They
because
also want to know
they're
what
gonna
they're
be
acting.
weary because I don't have money to really offer. They're gonna be they're gonna be like, hey, I don't know. So I got to gain some trust of some total
I think
strangers, and that's
UCLA
the hardest
law.
part.
You're great because you're right in California. So you have LA and
Hmm.
UCLA Film School and all the film schools out there. I mean, you're right at the epicenter of it all.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
and I think once you get some shots of Japan and like maybe release a couple of shots with like
Hmm.
maybe a poster, let's say, might be
Yeah.
a good idea. A cool poster. Like
Yeah.
when
Most
people see
definitely.
that, maybe some actors will come out and say, "Hey, I kind of like that. That looks kind of cool." I mean, I've already had people when I was like Karmic X, who I want to give a shout out to, who one time gave you a shout out, and because I said, "Hey, my friend's working on a movie," and this was some months ago, and Necktie Lummaton, he's like, Necktie Lummaton." He's like, I like the sound of that boy. And he's like, Necktie Lummaton. And he looks like a Max Headroom,
Hmm.
like he would be a perfect voice in the movie. I did
Hmm.
mention it to him, but he's so busy with stuff. But anyway, he had a giant trajectory. He started out the year 2025 with no YouTube subscribers.
Hmm.
And then he bumped up, got monetized, stepped up, and I forget like exactly how many subscribers he had and how much money, but he was making like $40,000 a month.
Wow.
At
It's
one
really
point,
good.
guess so last week lost his YouTube channel.
What
Demo
happened?
Not just demonetized, lost it. I don't know.
So did someone
Someone
like flag it? Someone that disagreed with
Yep,
him?
for harassment because he would go off on people. I'll beat
Uh,
you up, and then like just joke like
well,
it was just. But you can't say that. So he got
yeah, I mean, and if you, for example, if you worship Wilcock, you worship Terence McKenna, you worship Rogan, you'd be surprised. I can't even say
there
Rogan's
are
name.
people.
Even saying it these two times is too many times.
Really,
I
you
have
think so?
videos
Yeah, it's a good
where
point.
I mentioned JR, the famous podcaster. I
Yeah.
mentioned him maybe 10 times in a video. That video like got demonetized within seconds
What?
because his fans watched the video because he's tagged in it.
And he's not in it.
They didn't like it because I'm not famous and they don't know who I am. Why am I
Right,
even talking
right.
about the idol they worship? They
Same thing
flagged it
with
so
Tim and
many
Eric.
times. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I had to
Oh,
take the video down. And so that's how
that's
the
too bad.
YT system works. It's easily manipulatable. It
It
reminds me of a
is.
video game where you're playing and you're a brand new player and you're walking around this video game and some gang, like the biggest guild in the entire game with like 500 members, they don't like you. And so they'll flag you 1,000 times and you're banned. Now, this didn't happen to me, but I've seen a number of videos where it's happened to other
Yeah,
people.
it does happen.
It's
Oh, it
an
just.
easily manipulatable system. And
Mhm.
YT, the old tuberinos, is easily as manipulatable. I mean, you don't have to
Yeah,
be a hacker. You just have to have enough fans or friends or time. You could even probably pay some random dude to click the button 100 times and you're gone.
right.
It's
That's
it's
right.
horrific. It's
I
horrific
had a
how
there
easy
was
it
a
is.
person there's a person I know too, like and they also go to your back catalog that you have like privatized, and they'll go through the transcripts, and it's just
Oh yeah,
AI
most
going
definitely.
through it.
The YouTube employees, they're amazing
Yep.
people and I love them. They're the best of the best.
Yeah,
But
they're
they have
great.
access to the secret stuff and they'll look at it and they'll flag stuff. It's like, who cares? It's private. It's private. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
But so he lost his channel. I give a shout out to him, but
Oh man, I didn't hear
I
about
had a
that too bad. I
but
did check
it's
out his channel back when it wasn't gone, and he seemed
yeah.
like a decent guy to me.
Yeah, the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial jacket, which I always thought was funny, but
Hmm.
also cool, because it is kind of cool actually. It's a leather jacket with like a white. It's very particular. He
I
reminds me of
mean,
you, like you guys would get along.
I know he's a
He would
busy
be a good
guy,
voice.
but anyone you
Yeah,
recommend can voice act in the movie
he would
or
be good.
have a little
He would be a good
screen?
voice actor or something like that. Yeah, like because he has just like like you mentioned charisma. I think
Mhm.
Karmic X was born with like a plus. 5, 6, 7, 8 quid
Wow.
to be something
Cool.
like because I can't do what he does. But what
Yeah.
happened was like people would donate money and insult him. Basically, that's all it was. It
Mhm.
was insults,
Mhm.
and he would. So that's how he was making his living.
Mhm.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so now he's dropped, and it's a huge thing. It was a huge thing for him, man. And it's too bad,
Mhm.
man. But it's
Uh,
sad. But it
Sorry to
happens.
hear that.
YouTube is capricious with its judgment, and he appealed it,
Mhm.
and immediately got back like, nope, like
Mhm.
it's gone. But my friend also did this. And he's not really a friend, a person I know, and he got another phone, like a burner phone and a new
Mhm.
phone number, and used that to just get a new YouTube channel, and then built up
Yeah.
that YouTube channel,
What's that
and that's
guy's
it.
name? Keemstar.
Keemstar, right?
Technically, on a technical level, Keemstar is banned from the platform. Technically,
Hmm.
he literally like made a second account with his
Right.
mom's name or something, and
Right.
he happened to get famous with that account, but
So
his
there are
first
ways
account
around
or
it.
second or third or fourth got banned because back in the day he was pretty outrageous with what he said. You just got to be careful with what you say. You got to be polite and kind to everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, so that's about it. What else is going on? So the movies, do you have any idea about a soundtrack or anything like that?
Oh yeah,
Or
I mean
yeah,
it's just my style of music, but I have some tracks
because you're a
that I
musician too.
think I think will blow people away. I got some
Really?
tracks that are pretty kick to the butt. I can't reveal the secrets because it's an OST of originality. It's the
Absolutely.
original soundtrack of Necktie Lummaton. It's
Awesome.
it's cyberpunk.
Cool.
It's a cyberpunk movie, but it might be less punk, more cyber, less cyber, more punk. Whatever the
Mm.
case, it's going to be something, something, and it's different. It's its own thing, but it does fall in the genre of cyberpunk. And the music is going to be electronic in nature, but I don't want it to be generic. It's
Right.
not going to be dubstep. It's not going to be house. It's not going to be trance. It's not going to be generic
Yeah.
electronica. I want to try to make its own thing. It's going to be
That's
movie
cool.
music, but I want it to be its own thing, and I want it to punch and be in your face. I want it to be bubblegum and piss alley.
Mm.
I want it to be its own thing, interesting. There's a couple songs that I'm like, this is too good of a. Does it exist? And it doesn't exist. So I'm
Mm.
glad certain. It's going to be simple. At the same time, futuristic sounding.
Yeah.
I want
Lyrics
it
or
to
no,
be
just like straight
well.
score.
I want. It's mostly going to be just instrumental, but there are some lyric songs, and the lyric songs are going to be, uh, repetitive, kind of reminiscent of, I don't know, I guess Prodigy.
Oh yeah, I
But
agree.
I'm not ripping off Prodigy in any way. But it's going to be
No,
kind of,
but
kind of like UK house music to an extent. So
cool.
yeah, the lyrics are going to be very simple and repeated on a level of this is future music.
Right. That's the
Movies
vibe.
like
Yeah.
most movies of the future are lazy, and they'll be
Yeah.
like Demolition Man. No offense against
Yeah.
Demolition Man,
I like
it's
that
an
movie. Yeah.
amazing movie. I love
Yeah.
Demolition Man. Sandra Bullock, Sylvester
Oh
Stallone.
yeah.
I think it's a hilarious movie. I love it. The
I like it.
futuristic details, Dennis Leary, Rob Schneider.
That's right.
Uh, I love the movie, but the fact that old commercial music is the hip thing
Mm.
is, it's a little twist. It's a
Mm.
funny twist,
I
but
like
that
that. Yeah.
funny twist was created by someone in Hollywood that didn't
Yep.
want to come up with what future music
That's
sounds
a
like.
good
That'd be
point.
too complicated. It'd be
That's a
too
good point.
hard to actually come up with what future music sounds like.
Might
So
look
they
like
took
it.
the
Huh?
simple, easy route of let's just play 1950s commercials.
Right. Have you looked at like
And
Mad Max or anything like that?
my
Yeah.
movie is going to attempt actually make an attempt to
Damn.
show you what future music actually sounds like. And
Yeah.
it might come across comical, it might come across realistic. It's up to the
Yeah.
audience to judge, but it
Most
might be Max Headroom
dystopians.
esque. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of Max Headroom.
Most
Max Headroom is a
dystopian.
huge inspiration. And
Yeah.
someone
That's
did
good.
say, "Is AI going to be in your movie?" And
Probably.
this is before the AI boom. So they were just talking about artificial intelligence mentioned on any level. They said
Hmm.
cyborgs or anything like that. And I said, I'm not sure. But most definitely I'm gonna add some type of cyborg element, some type of
Cool.
artificial intelligence element, some type of a HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space
BB-8.
Odyssey.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
That's pretty
as
cool.
far as AI goes, I'm not a fan of using AI slop on a level of here's some AI slop.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like we're talking every 10th video I see on X
I
is
know. It's
AI
awful.
slop. Every
Or
10th video.
photo.
And I'll
Yeah.
be I'll be watching a 20-second clip of a non-existent movie and I'm like every
I know.
actor looks the same and it's
I know.
obviously AI generated. Why am I watching this? And I click it
Yeah.
off and I'll even go to the account and mute the person
A lot of people
sometime.
are fooled by it, though. Some people
But
are actually fooled.
you can use it on a level where it's not
Not even
replacing a human
noticeable.
actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, um, you can use it as long as it's small and isn't the whole. Like if I wanted to use it
Yep.
to be the movie, I wouldn't have to go to Japan. I could just type
Right.
Japan
That's a
background
good point.
and I
Right.
could walk around my neighborhood and AI can replace my neighborhood with any
True.
Japanese neighborhood, sort of,
Yeah.
and it could fool a million people into thinking I'm really in some Japanese looking place.
It's
But
true.
I want authenticity, and I don't think you can whip that up with AI. I don't.
Definitely
I've
not.
seen too much uh, of the amazing scenes of Japan to know that you can't recreate some of this stuff. You
No
can't,
way.
but you need permission. You need permission to
Right.
film anyone in Japan.
Yeah.
You can film people, but to really show their face, you need permission. And there are laws where you can't film any geishas.
Really.
Any of the geishas, you get a
Didn't
fine.
know
You get
that.
like a
Wow.
10,000 yen is the starting fine. It goes up to
No
100,000 yen for
kidding.
filming any geishas at all.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
forbidden. And so I didn't know that, but
The
I'm
whole
not planning to
culture.
go into any geisha neighborhoods.
Have you ever seen that? What was that movie with Wesley Snipes and Sean Connery, Rising Sun or something like that, where they go to Japan and they like run into the Yakuza. It's a pretty good movie if you haven't seen it. And they go
Mm,
over and Sean Connery goes over the customs of Japan and like how you have to like greet a person and you have to bow at the same level and it's considered impolite to do this and that. It's really good. It's like
I don't think I saw it. I don't think I've seen
no,
it.
Empire
Mm,
Rising Sun or something like Wesley Snipes, Sean Connery. I
check
think
it
it's
out.
in the 80s. No, yeah, it's pretty good. But I forget the exact plot, but it is filmed in Japan, I'm pretty sure, and stuff like that. But it's got like more of an 80s, late 80s, 90s vibe or something like
Hmm.
that. But it's not dystopian.
Well,
But the cool thing about your movie is that I just want to say is that you're doing your own soundtrack and score,
mhm,
which is pretty rare. And like you said, like you can get away with it by saying, "Oh, it's we listen to the 1950s music now." It's like, no, it's harder to actually make your own.
mhm,
Can you imagine what would be on the radio 100 years from now? And like try to put that down, you know what I mean? What would it be? And maybe
mhm,
it's a culmination of all these different little things and like what is it? You know what I mean? That's the and then do it. Like that's what I love about you in this project. It's like
mhm.
100% behind it because just like J.R. Tolkien did, like he started with the language, you know what I mean? The language was the primary thing, and
Yeah.
then the story evolved from that. But in dystopians, like in, for example, Brave New World, for example, 1984, for example, I could just go Hunger Games. There's almost no music, and the music that exists tells you a lot about the bigger world that
Mhm,
exists that this tiny little story is going on in. The
mhm,
larger world is going around it too, and with the history and everything like that. So, and you can and Tolkien does it too. You can harken back to like thousands years ago when something happened by mentioning it in a song. You know what I mean, or something like that. There's so many devices. It's such a clever thing to do, but you have to be smart and you have to be passionate about your art to want to like take that step in detail, not just say, oh, I'll just skip that part and have somebody else do it. No, You know, the songs
No,
are
there's
important.
tons of music. I mean, there's literally a
That's
scene where
good.
my character is just listening to music for like 5 minutes, and it's
Really?
too long. It's too long, so I probably have to cut it. But it's probably going to be 2 minutes of my
Yeah,
character just chilling for 2 minutes listening to music.
that's pretty
Now that's
cool.
not a normal scene in a movie,
No, not really. No.
and it's not dancing, and there's no cutting ears off. It's not
Nice.
even a soundtrack. The
Just
character puts on the radio multiple
like
times,
that.
the internet radio, and the character will put on the internet radio. He'll listen to the news, he'll hear commercials, and he'll listen to music. And
Yeah.
it's a soundtrack that doesn't exist yet. I'm working on the tracks. Um, and of
So,
course, there's going to be some action scenes and some soundtrack music that is external, but
but you said, okay, I think you reveal whatever. It's like 100. It's definitely 100 years ahead, right, or something like
yeah,
that
I
from
mean,
now.
I'm making 100 years from the time I
So that's
release it.
so
To
like
be
that's
realistic,
almost realistic. Yeah. It's not like
to be
3,000 years or something.
Well, originally it was going to be 500 years in the future, and I
Um,
realized that's too expensive to make something look that futuristic.
yeah.
So I
So
changed it to 100 because every movie I see, not every movie, but every
it's
other movie I see that's a sci-fi movie, it'll say the year is 1992, and look at how futuristic everything is, and you're like, what?
yeah, yeah.
1992?
A
And you're
year.
like, oh, the
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
was made in 1982, and they thought just 10 years in the future it'd be that much. It's like,
Yeah.
what? So
It is the year 1989. Robots have taken
some
over.
of them are realistic, but 9 times out of 10, they'll say 2010, the year
The
we made
end.
contact.
Right.
We are flying in outer space into that. And that was written by Arthur C. Clarke back in the
Or
50s and 60s or whatever. And so
or a character will say all things
understandably, he's looking
changed.
50
Yeah.
years, 60 years in the future. He thinks it'll be that advanced.
That's a different thing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to be safe and say 100 years. So whenever
That's a good point.
it was originally going to be 2125, and because the movie isn't released in 2025, it's going to be 2126, and it
Mm-hmm.
might be 2127 because I don't know
About
exactly
100
when
years.
it's going to be released. But whenever it's released, that'll be the date.
100 years from now. That's
100
cool.
years after the release date.
I think that's cool because you don't have to go like extreme like you see basically when people try to imagine 5,000 years in the future, it's like the sun is dying and like, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything's tribal warfare. We revert back to like tribalism. There's been some kind of catastrophe that happened and stuff like that. So 100 years gives you that like you can like draw upon the past that we actually have here in the primary world and use history and everything and all the references and all that and music and then yeah transform it into your own thing. It's just amazing. It's just I don't know, I'm just
My movie
excited
is
for you.
greatly inspired. It's greatly inspired by Blade Runner and Clockwork Orange.
Right,
And I guess
right,
Clockwork Orange is another example of old music because,
right.
like
It's a good point.
Demolition Man, it's Beethoven the whole time.
That's right.
And I think that was done well. I
It
think that
is
was
done
done
well.
perfectly.
Well, it's
Uh,
Beethoven. Yeah,
I love
exactly.
the NADSAT language that
Yep.
Burgess came up with
Came
in
up with
the
yeah.
book that was adapted. And
Yep. Big
Malcolm
Joyce fan.
McDowell, Malcolm McDowell said he made up a lot of the language
Did he? Oh
in the
wow,
movie.
interesting.
For
It
example,
catches on. Yeah.
um, just tiny stuff like
Mm.
apipolylogis, tiny stuff like
He made that
um,
up? I didn't know that.
he claims in the
I bet he
DVD
did.
commentary, he claims he came up with eggy wakes and steaky bakes or whatever
Real
when he's in the hospital. He said he
yeah, yeah, yeah.
100% improvised the
Eggy
steaky wakes
bakes
and
and like
eggy bakes or whatever, the
I
eggs
love
and
that.
bacon. The funny way he said eggs and bacon, the funny way he said
Yeah, I don't
apologies.
remember that in the book. It's true.
So Malcolm probably read the book. He probably thoroughly
It was
memorized the script and he knew what NatSat was, but he added to NatSat. He actually added. So
that's
that's
pretty
pretty cool
cool.
hearing about that. And I wanted my movie to have a lot of, there's movies like The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you've seen The Fifth Element. How many
A few
times have you seen
times.
it?
I don't know, I can't count, but I
Like five
definitely
times, 10
10
times?
over it's about 10 times, yeah.
Like the
I
first
would
time I
say.
saw it, I never even noticed once, not even a single time, them saying the word green.
Oh, I don't know if I
The
noticed
second
that.
time, I maybe heard it once. The third
Okay.
time, I heard it like 3 times. The 10th time
Right.
watching The Fifth Element, they say the word green like 20 times.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Green means cool. It's a future word for cool.
Oh, okay.
It's
I never knew
lingo and
that.
slang in the Fifth Element universe. And
Awesome.
so the Nadsat of Clockwork Orange, even Green from the Fifth Element, inspired me to make up many new words, lingo
Hmm.
that doesn't exist. And
Mm-hmm.
I want full scenes to be characters talking this lingo and no one
That's
understanding a
cool.
single word until you watch the movie
That's
like 3, 4
brilliant.
times.
That's
And
pretty
I thought that would
brilliant.
be funny.
That is brilliant. Keep that, edit that, keep that. Just that is a really cool
And of course, Back
idea.
to the Future Part 2, uh,
It's a huge
Tranks,
influence. Yeah.
Lobos, Zip
Right.
Heads,
Zip heads and all that.
and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Bojo.
Mojo itself,
No, it's
the
Bojo.
name. Oh,
Bojo
Bojo.
is slang in Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh,
And
is it
Tranks and Lobo is
zip
obviously
head?
lobotomized and tranquilizer.
Lobotomized. Lobotomized is a real word, though, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I think you have a lot of fun coming up with that. But yeah, you're right. Like even like catchy languages. I think Burgess was going for a combination of English with Russian,
Hmm.
and so like it was like check and like so it does catch on. Like
Yeah.
and that's how you know like a language is like real because it something in your brain the language organ in our mind and our consciousness goes, oh, that's authentic. That somehow
Hmm.
sounds authentic. It's what they call phonoaesthetics, meaning
Hmm.
it's a sound, it's good. It sounds like a language. So like Tolkien does that with Elvish and stuff. Like, oh, Helcaraxa. You can almost feel like how cold of a place that must be. You can, it's Helcaraxa. It's like ice cracking. You
Hmm.
can, but it is, and what it is it's a cold like iceberg basically a place. It's a authentic language that's also, but and then people coming along and then adding to it too is really brilliant. So that's, yeah, maybe that will happen. The more you explore your language and,
So,
slang and
kind of the
stuff.
hardest part is getting actors to deliver the lines
Right.
exactly how I want them to be
That's true.
delivered. And there's probably going to be a huge language barrier in Japan.
That's a good point.
I might have to get an interpreter. We'll see what happens.
Most
There
they
might
speak
be new
English though.
Japanese slang that I don't know about. Like
Yeah.
I learned a Japanese word, Yahoo.
What is that? What does that mean?
Yahoo just means hey, what's up with your
Oh,
friends.
okay. Yahoo.
That's it.
That's cool.
So it sounds like a fake slang word right there, but it's
Yahoo.
real.
Yeah.
So I might
Have you
throw
started
in some
watching like Japanese films and stuff like that? Like,
just Instagram infinite reels.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm just researching via Instagram. Someone will post the most amazing thing and say, "Here's a secret alleyway no one knows it." And then
Yeah.
I'll just grab that image and throw it to Grok, and Grok
Hmm.
will tell me the exact address. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I have
Grok is
at this
awesome.
point, have 50 locations, and I have to narrow it down. I can't go to 50 locations.
I gotta
So
say,
I might spend 5 hours at one location. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
But man, so
it's
someone
cool.
dropped out of the movie,
Oh,
and
really?
that's no big deal because we're early. It's early in the
Yeah.
process. I've only invited one actor to be in the movie. That's it.
Oh, yeah, that
Now I've
person.
invited a couple people to voice act, and a couple people have volunteered.
Yeah.
So like a handful of people volunteered. I have
Jordan
asked a
did.
handful of people, and so we have like 10 people, 15 people want to voice
I'm
act.
down. I know that.
But
Yeah.
only one person have I asked to be physically in
Physical
California,
acting.
and they were
Yep.
open. They're like, sure. And then they didn't understand that I want to film like many months down the road. They
Right.
thought it was like next weekend,
Oh,
and so it
man.
was so far down the road that I think they dropped out based on that. They don't
Oh, oh
understand
well.
when you're building a movie and you've been working on it for 2 years, 3 years, or however long I've been
Process.
working on it, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I have to think many months in advance. I'm not just
Absolutely.
thinking about making a YouTube video
No.
this weekend.
Right.
So it's understandable. They
Yeah, I
think
get it.
they might think they're bigger than the video. They might think it's a YouTube video. It's not a YouTube video.
Yeah,
But you're right. I do need to make a reel to reel people in. I have to
I
show
think
a few
so.
seconds of the movie and make a poster, and I'm gonna do
A
that.
poster would be cool. Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna have a camera guy, and he's gonna film me doing my best
It's
to
awesome.
make the movie, and I'm gonna hire as many locals as I can. We're gonna see what
Yeah.
happens
It's going to
because
be great.
it is a budget restraint that
Yeah.
I can't put a casting call for $1 million to grab all the amazing talent out there. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to grab, we will see. I mean, if people want to volunteer on the spot, they're in. You know what I mean? We'll see what
Right.
happens. We'll see what
Well, I
happens.
will say this too, and I know Lord Josh is a big fan, and shout out to Lord Josh, who's probably listening right now too. We talk a lot and correspond. But I was talking to he's like he always asks how the movie is
Mhm,
and how you are and everything, and he is very much a fan of costumes, as you know,
mhm.
and so like he's very interested in like the design and stuff. So do you remember when it snowed in Arizona? I think, and you waited for it to snow so you could get this one shot of you dressed up in like
Yeah.
that gown, like,
Mhm,
and with the staff that you made,
mhm,
with the ankh on it.
mhm,
That must, I think and you did put it in the video, which the song I listen to pump myself up sometimes. If you don't know, you aren't in the know. As
mhm,
Above, So Below, the Mysterious Ghost Investigation Crew song, which
mhm,
I was in the video,
mhm.
um, and I'm part of, I guess. So, but Lord Josh was like, uh, anyway, I don't know what was going on that. Hold on.
Yeah, he's definitely complimented me on that. Lord Josh is a very talented individual. He's a wardrobe expert. He
Right.
he designs and custom orders and has
Right.
custom couture, one of a kind, bespoke pieces of amazing
Yeah.
robes and many jackets,
Hats, and yeah, you
hats,
just got a hat, I guess, that
canes.
these Lamont hat. It's like a cowboy hat. Like, I don't know, I
Mhm.
gotta see it, but
No, he's an
sunglasses, like,
awesome individual. I
um,
did invite him to voice act, and he's like, I don't
oh
know if I
really?
can, but
He'd be
I
good.
mean,
He would be good. But like, so but what was my point though? I think I was gonna say like he's also like a singular artist and individual. That like doesn't matter what this like the rules are, kinda.
mhm,
It does matter a little bit, but like
mhm,
he also is like he lives his art. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
it is who he is. You know what I mean? And every little detail counts. You know what I mean? Like everything. I forget exactly why I brought that up though, but maybe it'll come to me. But anyway,
Well, Lord
shout out to
Josh
Lord
did
Josh.
ask me, "Is my movie going to have corny lines in it?" And I said, "Most definitely, there's going to be corny
Oh,
lines. You got to
yeah,
have a corny line to stick in the audience's memory, so
right.
they go back." I would love it if people quoted, even if it's not a major success. If people quote my movie, 20 years down the road, that'll be a success to me.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it could happen.
but I'm reminded of George Carlin, who said he took
Oh yeah.
LSD a couple times and it opened his mind and
Mhm.
it gave him permission to be the stand-up comedian he became, and obviously he became very
Hmm.
successful. And it reminds me of a time someone said, "What gives you permission to direct a movie?" And I told the person, I don't need permission.
No.
So if anyone's stuck in a rut like that and they need to be a stand-up comedian, a director, a writer, author, musician, performer, whatever you want to be in life, you don't need permission from anybody. Just go
Right.
and do it. Period. And
Right.
I told this guy, I do have a YouTube channel with a couple million views here and there,
Yeah.
three plus million views to be precise. And it's not me stealing the Fast and Furious movie and saying, "Oh, this is a good movie." It's not me stealing like a famous clip from David Bowie. Like, well, I mean, to an extent, it was on one video, but that's neither here nor there.
It's true.
But it's
That's a
not
good
me
video.
grabbing like here's Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk. A good 90% of these videos are my face,
All right,
and
I
I don't think
remember.
I don't think I
I
have great charisma.
No, you but hold on, you do. But here's what I'll say. Okay, so I remember that 1 second shot of you in that robe
Hmm.
as a and the whole gear and the white face, I think, and just like the black and white way you shot it too, and the Lord Josh was like, he didn't believe that was you. He didn't
Hmm.
think it was you. I'm like, that's John. He's like, what? Like, he's like, wait, I want to see more. Like, what is that? Well, who is that? I'm like, I don't know.
I
So
even had
if you're behind that, and that's only like 2 seconds of your creativity is that freaking thing, and that you wait like a year for it to snow to get like a thing and like a whole costume with an
I
ankh.
even
Like,
had
come
like
on.
I had like whitish blue contact lenses on for the first time in my life just for
Really.
that
Your
because
your work ethic is crazy. It's
I
like the
wanted to look
craziest work
like
ethic.
I wanted to look like an immortal entity
You did.
just
Yeah.
hanging out.
Well, hopefully, maybe you can splice in like a photo of that person. I mean, I don't know. That character was amazing. Like, and Lord, that's what I was thinking of was like Lord, because
Well,
that's right up Lord Josh's alley. Like it's
I
got the
can bring
stat,
back I can
Yeah,
bring back a similar character for the movie.
I love that. That character's
You know,
elite, whatever
there's
it is.
definitely going to be an epic scene in the movie. I can't give it away, but there is
No,
going to be an epic scene of like a vision, and I can bring something
that'd be cool, man.
associated with
That
that
guy,
character back. I
I don't
still
know.
have the
Yeah,
whole costume. I still have the whole
do
thing.
you really? Yeah, but did you like what? I guess my point was like 2 seconds of that creativity, like what went into that 2 seconds is amazing, and just like it's almost like what great artists and writers do is they refer to, like, it's like they show you something that's like beyond, like way like in left field that you don't expect, and it's
Hmm.
just like it shows up and you're like, whoa, what is that? Wait, I want to know more about that. Like Tolkien does it in his book. Like he'll refer to like, oh, it's like the great tale of Beren and Luthien, which is told in another book that you'll never read. And then you're like, wait, no, I want to know more about that as a reader. But no, this is the story of the hobbits. And you go on and you read that. But it refers to this story or that story. And then you find out Lord of the Rings was just a tiny little thing in a giant universe of tales that Tolkien wrote. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So anyway, I think you
Well,
have that same kind of thing.
thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, the hat from that just came in a dream. I had a dream of that hat,
Hmm.
so
Really?
I had to make the hat, and
Yeah, that
then
was a
I had
tall hat if I remember. It was like,
yeah,
and it,
very big. I had to make it from scratch, and I bought all the parts. I It's literally made out of cardboard,
it's pretty
glued
cool.
together, and felt glued on there. Every piece individually cut and glued, and it
Wow.
took a long time. It took a couple months just to make the hat, and uh, and then I had to have an Egyptian crook. It
Ankh.
had to be
Oh,
a pharaoh's crook because
right.
this is a pharaoh-like
Remember that.
immortal being, and it was very hard to locate a crook
Yeah, I
online.
remember.
It was so hard. I found it on Instagram. Some dude made crooks
Is
on
that right?
Instagram. I like PayPal'd a guy like $50 for his crook,
Really?
and he said he makes them, custom makes them. So he mailed
Oh,
me his crook, and then I painted
good.
it black and white, and
Yeah,
then I
it was
made the ankh
crazy.
from scratch, and then I got the pole that I painted black and white, and I attached the pole to the ankh.
And but you waited, I think it because you wanted snow on the ground
Hmm.
in the forest, and you wanted this character like walking through the forest in the snow. Oh my God, man! I think it's in Time Traveler from 20 that song 2024. Well, I forget the name, but Time
Yeah,
Traveler.
I was gonna do more with it. I was gonna do more with it. I mean, you complimenting me and Joe Lord Josh complimenting me. Those are the
Yeah.
few compliments I ever got from it
You
because a
really?
person, uh, like one person saw me in it, and they were kind of dismissive and rude to me.
Really? Yeah.
But I mean, that's what
Whatever.
happens when you dressed up in an elaborate costume.
Yeah.
People are like,
They don't know.
you know,
Gotta know. Yeah, you got to know the context and everything like that, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? But that was phenomenal. I just like remember like, oh my God, and I just remembered Lord Josh being like, he didn't believe it was you at first. I just thought that was funny. So shout out to Lord Josh. We'll give a shout out to him before
Shout
we
out to
end the
Lord
show.
Josh. He's always
Rest in
invited
peace,
to be
David
in the
Wilcock.
movie
Yeah,
if he wants
invited
to
on the
be in the
show too.
movie. I mean, he could do an amazing voice acting
He
or
would.
even video. The
He would.
character lives in an apartment, and the apartment is in a Japanese looking neighborhood,
Mm,
and he talks to people via the interwebs, listens to the internet radio, he pays attention to the internet news, and this is all stuff that happens 100 years in the future. So it's not
right.
modern day boring stuff.
Right.
It's hopefully going to be entertaining. I mean, we'll see.
Have you ever seen Idiocracy at all? Like just from
Yeah,
like a
I've seen
funny perspective.
Idiocracy
I
probably
think it's a
10 times.
I think that's a cool like future. It is dystopian too, but it's a comedic kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's
No,
like one
I
of
like.
those like
I
it's
think
so
it's really
bad.
interesting.
It's so bad. It's funny. Like times are so bad that it's actually ridiculously like
Yeah,
funny. Like you either laugh or cry kind of thing. It's
I
like
mean, it's a very well done movie.
it is. I
Um,
thought it was great.
I like it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
There's
and how it portrays the
there's
future. You
pros
know.
and cons about it, but
Yeah,
generally speaking,
sure.
man, I literally, and not to make fun of anybody in life, but I literally maybe about a year ago, I overheard like a group of like maybe three individuals, and they're the younger variety, and they sounded exactly like characters from Mediocrity. We're
Oh
talking like
God, I know.
identically,
I
like
know.
verbatim. They had
Oh, I know.
down
I'm a
pat.
teacher,
So
so
I was
yeah.
I was like, what am I hearing? The movie was prophetic, and
Yeah,
not to make fun of anybody,
absolutely.
but they sounded
No,
exactly like characters from the movie.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, like it's like I like my like I don't know how many times I've heard I like money though too or something like that. Like, yeah, money's pretty cool, I think. And like it's like converse like some podcasts are conversations like that. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
like or shows like
Yeah,
that make thousands of dollars apparently. Like we should if we really wanted to make money, we could go live. We could start talking stuff about like Chrissy Mayer and Kevin Brennan and
man,
like
I
what's going
swear,
on with
if
the
we
drama.
simply if we simply talked like the extras in Idiocracy, we would probably get 1 million views every week.
So
If we
true.
talked about the same topics,
Oh
but
my God.
oh, did you hear about the UFOs? Did you hear
Well,
about them UFO, the
disclosure
UA,
coming.
the UAPs?
They're here.
UAPs landed on the White House lawn.
I saw one. I saw one.
UFO.gov/War of the Worlds.
Yeah,
It's happening.
Jesus.
I
Yeah.
can't do the accent. I
You
can't
Southern
get
accent?
I can get perfectly into an accent. Like
I was
I can
born in
listen to
South
I can listen to
Carolina.
Russell Brand for 2 minutes,
Oh my
and I can
God,
do a
that guy.
perfect Russell Brand impression.
Can you? He's pretty
And
good,
then
yeah.
not hearing his voice for a couple minutes, it's totally gone. So
My name's Russell
I can
Brand.
get into
I'm
accents. I
I'm
can get
looking
into
at it's right here in Isaiah. Isaiah. He says Isaiah when he's looking through the Bible. I thought that was hilarious when he was looking through the Bible for the passage. He just keeps going. I think that was
Mhm.
intentional, but like but like it was really funny.
So
Oh my God.
Matt, there's this politician lady, Luna, Representative Luna,
Yes.
and I
She's
think she's a
crazy.
good person and does a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff and everything. But she's tweeted probably 10 times,
She's one
read
of
the
the
book of
lobby.
read the book of Enoch.
Enoch. Yeah, I know. I know.
Now, at first I was like, that's a false book.
Yeah. Well,
And then the second time I was like, this is a 300 AD book anonymously written,
yeah.
attributed to Enoch, and has nothing to do
Attribute.
with Enoch.
That's right.
And
That's
then
exactly
the
right.
third and fourth, fifth time I heard her post it, I'm realizing she might be so Bible illiterate
Yeah.
that I think she thinks she's saying read the book of Ezekiel, but she's
Oh.
confusing Ezekiel with Enoch.
Oh,
I think
maybe.
she's so far removed from what the Bible is,
Well,
that she means the first chapter of Ezekiel, which clearly talks about the eyes within the
right.
eyes and the heads within the heads and the spinning circles. And she's talking about the UFO chapter of Ezekiel, which is
I,
the most popular UFO chapter in the whole Bible.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why. I think she really does mean not Ezekiel, Enoch, because it's a huge. It's not huge. I'm not going to say huge.
I know
It
it talks
is.
about
It
fallen angels and this and that
it.
here and there. I
Yeah,
know.
it is very David Wilcock. Like there's a guy Billy Carson. He's a black gentleman, and he goes around. And I knew a guy that in Boston. I was on their show, Paranormal Hood, and there's two dudes that just like sit in Boston and just like talk about UFOs are fake and all this stuff. And so I hung out with them, but he was really like critical of this guy Billy Carson, who now went on Joe Rogan, is on Gaia, just like David Wilcock, promotes all this stuff, failed miserably against like a real scholar who was like they brought up Enoch, I think, and he was just like, yeah, that wasn't like Enoch's not like that. Like the way Billy Carson twists the Book of Enoch, you would think that like Enoch was an Anunnaki and or whatever, and that took away. And then like I read his book because a family member like is into it and is
Mhm.
and read and it's just so stupid. And so she is bought and paid for, like I said, like by the UAP people and like these people that are pushing the disclosure movement. Like
Yeah.
she's totally one of those lobbyists. Like she and like
Well, on
I
top of
think
that,
she's
though,
like,
he's
yeah,
just Bible illiterate.
and just Bible illiterate. Yeah,
See,
if
for
at
those who don't
best.
know, for those who don't know, I have read the entire Bible A to Z, the front to the
Good,
back, and I
that's good.
remember
A
it
lot of people
and
don't.
memorize, and I read a couple things here and there. And the
I have it
last
memorized.
10 chapters of Ezekiel, not the first chapter, but the last
Right,
10 chapters of Ezekiel are the best 10. Read them. But for those who don't know, Enoch was a prophet pre-flood.
right.
Before the flood, Enoch
For
was a
Noah,
prophet.
right.
And before the flood, that Noah famously, the ark and all that,
Yeah,
pre-flood, Enoch was an ancient prophet of God. And
yep,
Enoch had a city, and he exactly followed God's plan.
right.
Kind of like the Japanese, he was very organized, and
Yes,
his followers perfectly followed God's plan too.
that's
And
right.
it's a
Like
rare
Noah too,
scenario of one city of everyone perfectly
perfectly
doing,
in harmony.
not for any negative reasons,
No,
just everyone was polite, everyone was kind, everyone was
harmony.
nice on
Yep,
such a level that the entire city was translated into heaven. And
that's yeah.
Enoch and all of his followers and the entire city
Ascended,
was taken
not
and put
taken.
in heaven because it was that good of a city that the whole city was translated.
Wow, I
Now
forgot
that's
about
a
that.
story
That's
from the
amazing.
Bible. I personally believe
The whole city, I
because I
forgot about
happen to
that.
believe the Bible. Now, are there
Oh yeah,
allegories and parables? Most definitely. But I
yeah,
think that's a true story personally. I think Enoch was a real human being that existed
I do
pre-flood
too.
era. And then there's this false book called the Book of Enoch that popped up around 200 to 300 AD,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
written
that's
in it was written according to AI, it was written by some anonymous Jewish authors.
right.
Now, no offense to any Jewish authors, but if you ask AI will tell you it was common at the time to
To do.
attribute a book to a famous person like
That's
Moses.
right.
There's
That's
a bunch of
exactly right.
fake books of Moses that L.W. DeLawrence
That's right.
released. And for example, there's a book called the Book of Sacred
It
Magic
looks
by
like you're
Abramelin the
right
Mage. Abramelin the Mage is a
at
dude that never
Abraham.
existed.
Right.
It's just a fake name that someone used because it's Abraham mixed with whatever
Merlin, maybe. Yeah.
Merlin, and it's a powerful sounding name, so they attributed it to
True.
that. Even the Book of Necronomicon, which is totally fake and
Right.
totally a hoax, is a modern
Good
day
point.
version of the Book of Enoch. Could
Right.
there be some
Good
true
point.
stuff in it? Maybe, like devilish, demonic things,
Right.
but
Right.
most definitely it's full of falsehood and BS.
Right.
So the Book of Enoch is a
Same.
200 to 300 AD Necronomicon.
Yeah,
It's
that's a good
full of
point. I like
BS,
that.
lies, and scum. And people that
Just
don't know
follow
any
it.
better don't know that it's not a holy book. They don't know it's not part of the Bible, because there's
No,
probably some false Bibles out there that have this false Book of
there
Enoch
are.
thrown in there.
There
But
definitely
the
are.
regular King James Bible doesn't have the Book of Enoch in there, because the
Yeah.
true, actual, real Enoch was translated into heaven. And if he
Right.
wrote any books, there's a good chance he wrote something, because
Maybe.
he was a holy man.
Yeah.
If the true Enoch wrote anything, it went into heaven with him. We don't have any actual book from any
Interesting.
actual Enoch,
No.
because if he wrote anything and went into heaven, we just don't happen to have it. This 200, 300 AD hoax, written by some
Yeah.
dudes, wanted to talk about fallen angels 24/7, 365. They
Yep.
popped it in there. It's an ancient yet fairly modern
It's ancient aliens all over it.
Necronomicon. Not as modern
Yeah.
as 1977 Necronomicon, but it's a Necronomicon post Jesus's life, way post the flood. Has nothing to do with the real Enoch. And can
No.
you get some real information out of it? I mean, you can dig in the dirt in Egypt and grab some scrolls and read them, but it doesn't mean every word in those scrolls is true. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah. Just
that's just
like
my take on
well,
it.
it's the same thing with the Nag Hammadi. Like I remember really being into not just the Bible, but like the books that weren't in the Bible that didn't make the cut at the Council of Nicaea or whatever, right?
The
So
Anunnaki.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about like just books like
Mhm,
the Book of Thomas, the Gospel of Thomas isn't part of
mhm.
the original four Gospels.
Yeah,
You know what I
apparently
mean?
there's a book of Judas. I don't want to read that
There's
one
the Book of
personally.
Judas too. I read that, and it basically it's just fragments, and they were just written by different like sects of Jewish cults, like
Hmm.
basically that like oh maybe the Judas like Thomas was the real cool one, no maybe Judas actually, like they'll flip it all up, make like he wouldn't exist if not for Judas, like it
Hmm.
wouldn't have happened, like he was part of God's plan. So there is like this it was apocryphal Gospel of Judas, and like
Hmm.
there's a whole scandal with that. Like if somebody went around saying that they actually had it and
Hmm.
sold it to somebody for a lot of money, turned out to be a false thing.
Hmm.
And then it was there was a real copy that was in private hands. We still don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do know now, but at the time it was being translated by James Robinson of like in New York, I think. They were translating the Nag Hammadi library. They were looking at it through like a Gnostic lens. So that is
Hmm.
to say, like they were looking at it in like an anti-Christian lens, you could even say. So they
Well,
would
I know
interpret.
Billy Meyer, the fake UFO
Yeah.
guy with one arm in Switzerland, the old
Yep.
one-armed bandit,
He's
Billy
still around.
Meyer.
Yeah.
I know he was obsessed with the Book of Judas,
Oh, really?
and so some UFO guy obsessed with the Book of Judas, obviously
Yeah.
for anti-Christian reasons. The
It is
Some
pretty
of the
anti-Christian.
earliest UFO photos Billy Meyer took were crosses in the sky,
Oh, really? I didn't
and
know that.
so he's just been a hoaxer since day one, and a really
Yeah, man.
anti-Christian hoaxer from day one. I
Yeah.
personally believe he has some demonic stuff going on with his life.
I
I
think so
personally,
too. Well, I think Michael Horn especially. I see Michael Horn. He's on the show. What is the name of the show? Michael Deacon show. And I remember seeing him one time in your chat when you went live. And one time he appeared in my chat. But um, he has his own show, and I don't know if he's like running out of guests or something like that. He has a good radio voice, good like kind of presentation. Audio is awesome, but like there's no video, and it's just people speaking. And he must have Michael Horn on like every other show.
uh,
Every other show is
well,
like
Horn
Michael. It's like,
Horn
oh, special guest Michael Horn. I'm like, oh
Horn
God, man.
religiously believes in UFOs and Meyer. He
He's a
religiously believes.
religion.
See,
It's his
most people
religion.
wouldn't know that unless you really interacted. I've
Yeah,
interacted
I've
with
listened
Horn
to him.
enough to know that he authentically religiously believes. And when I figured
Yep.
that out, I eased off on him,
You do,
because
yeah.
people have
It's his
religious
belief.
protections, religious freedom. You can
Yeah.
believe in some devilish, demonic, Luciferian UFO from the sky all day and all night. You can get tricked and go to hell. I mean, it is
That's the
what it
American
is.
way. Yeah.
You can do what you got to do. I mean, if you want to worship a donut and go to Krispy Kreme and bow down at Krispy Kreme all day and all night,
Oh,
I'm
I
not going
had
to
the
stop
best
you. You
donut.
can do that. You can do
Yeah.
it.
I had the best donuts, by the way. Like usually around here, there's not like inside the like Dunkin' Donuts, which aren't great at all.
Mhm.
Like, but they used to be pretty good. But like back, there's a place that's been around since I want to say like the 50s and or 40s, and their donuts, John, like someone that I couldn't resist it because I'm very much no sugar too now,
Mhm.
and I've lost like a lot of weight and too, and but it was first thing in the morning. So just real quick, yeah, the donuts were really awesome. Like I mean, they were homemade. They were just like big. I was like, oh my god. So I had to have one, and I did, and it was the first donut I've had in like 3 years, or I can't even remember
Uh,
the last time. Yeah, it was amazing. It was like,
Universal Studios, they got Homer donuts that are this big,
oh, I love that. I
but
was
I
gonna say
never
the
bought one.
forbidden
They look
donut.
ridiculously scary.
I love the scene from the Simpsons where it's like it's the forbidden donut, and it's the Halloween special from the Simpsons, and he's like, "Don't eat this donut," and he eats it and he goes to hell, and he's sitting there like this and he's
Yeah, I
strapped
remember
to a
that one.
thing and he's just eating donuts. He's like, "Ah, you like donuts, huh?" And he's like, "Ha, ha, ha, well, here's all the donuts you can eat," and it's like Dante. You get the sin, you get what you want in hell, basically.
Yeah,
Hell is where you get exactly what you want, right? But like, so they run out of donuts. Even hell runs out of donuts. Like, oh wow.
that's pretty
And
funny.
like Homer just goes, home, 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 and he just eats them all and they run out.
Mhm. I mean,
Anyway,
I might cheat in Japan. I might have a Japanese donut here or there.
mochi
I
is
need
really
the
good.
energy to film. You know what I mean?
That's true. I was
But
gonna
once
say,
I
yeah, you got
leave,
it.
I'm back to the no donuts. I haven't had a donut in a long time, many months.
Me too. But
No,
I
that's
did.
not good for you, except for mini
I
donuts. I
know.
had the mini donut
Oh,
actually,
you did those.
and
I
those are
heard
bad.
they have the donuts.
Hey, I don't eat donuts.
The
I have tiny ones.
the mini donuts count. There's the mini.
Okay, I'm on low battery. We're gonna
They
have
have
to wrap
churro.
this to wrap it up.
All right. All right. Well,
Until
be
next
seeing you.
time, be seeing you.
Flat Earth Illuminati. All right.
Flat Earth Illuminati.
See you, John.
Be seeing you.
At the crossroads, walk unseen skies, where electromagnetic static entities recognize. Poltergeist levitation not beheld, despite being disbelieved, my belief is unparalleled. Trismegistus, spiritists, corners of rooms, spirits exist.